Good evening, everybody, and we are here for the battle, episode 2 of the newer series called In Defense of the Genre. Tonight is going to be legendary, and it's hard to make that live up to this, but I guarantee you with these two guests, it will absolutely live up to it. I'm going to bring them in now. First, the defending champion in the red corner. Let's bring out Dr. Will Dodson. Will, what's going on?
I'm getting my Bolo Young face.
Let's do it. We got some fans already calling for a heavy battle. And Stan, I think this was directed at you, says this had better be good. But we brought a hefty opponent tonight, coming all the way from the opposite side of the globe, from Germany, Laurent Ohmansiek from Wicked Vision, Germany. Hello and welcome.
How you doing, Ryan? How you do, Will? And how you doing, community? I see Kumite. It's awesome. I'm Tong Po, but oh no, different movie. Sorry.
This is going to be remarkable. I've been looking forward to this since about 3 days after the last episode we did. I'm so glad that we got Laurent out here. It is 3 a.m. in Germany.
It's 3 a.m. and see my boss is even online and say Muskatnuss, Herr Müller.
What's going on, Daniel? Welcome. For everybody in the chat, first I got to shout out Wicked Vision Germany, incredible company. I hope you watched the interview with Laurent. I hope you've seen some of the wonderful goods that they send out. They do incredible work. Some of the upcoming releases that have already been announced, can you shed light on some of those you're excited for?
Can I?
I
can. I'm glad that the Black Cinema collection is going strong now and going fast now, and we achieve our goal to complete it this year completely.
Nice.
This is cool. Then we got some good horror stuff coming up for you. And let's keep it that way. One of our old legends, horror legends, one of the persons we really love. We got a huge package for you. There are news coming soon, but I promise you, you will love it. You won't regret it, and you're thinking that coming from the right label.
Can't wait.
Tonight I have a huge package for you.
Not again. Seriously. Sexual harassment is something I get very often in the last few weeks. So,
well, good preparation for tonight.
I love it. So tonight we are battling over 80s action films, and this was an obvious topic when I wanted to get Laurent on because it was something that we bonded over in our interview, and then afterwards when we were just hanging out. This is an incredible topic. So I got to ask everybody, like, where did you start with 80s action movies? Let's go, Laurent, first.
Where do I start? Technically, I do something wrong. I start with Walter Hill and the Warriors, and then I go up to the 80s action movies. And then I, like somebody mentioned, the MK2 Mortal Kombat play automat? It's called automat? I don't know the English term. Fuck it. But game machine, sorry.
Okay.
But then I compare the action movies with the actual video games that came up, like Bloodsport and Mortal Kombat, or even Commando and Metal Gear Solid. And then, everything out of this is breeding something new. And then we got into a complete new generation. But this is what I made up with the 80s movies. Yeah.
Nice. What about you, Will?
This is something we were kind of bonding about backstage. For me, the first 80s action movie I saw multiple times that got me obsessed was The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, in which Punisher fights the Yakuza and the Mafia at the same time. Can't be topped.
Well, this is your second time in the ring, and your previous competitor, Mr. Jeremy Long, says, all right, let's see if anyone does better than that funny man, Jeremy Long. How do you feel about this one compared to last episode?
I'm much more nervous because this time I respect my opponent.
Yeah, Jeremy kind of deserved that one. Let's be honest.
No, Jeremy's awesome. I love I loved every minute.
It's been a really interesting time to see everybody respond to last month's episode. So tonight we're going to change some things up, but to give the lay of the land and share what changed from the last one and what's going to be a little bit different. First, we went down to 16 titles. I think we did 32 last time. That was way too many. We're going to stick to 16 tonight so that we can actually talk about some of the films a little bit more. But the more important thing is this topic is not as giant as best TV comedies. So when I asked for lists from both of you, we had some good amount of crossover. You each gave me 4 matching titles from each other. So I will warn you now, I had to split those evenly. 2 of those went to Will and 2 of those went to Laurent. So you're going to be fighting to control those 2 titles. And they're going to be 2 that you love that your opponent has. When we go through this, each and every round, you are easily going to find yourself stuck in a corner every time, probably, because this list is full of some incredible titles. Off the cuff, Will, do you think there is a dominant, like, number 1 obvious winner of best 80s action film?
Objectively or subjectively?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, he mentioned it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's see who gets it on this list and who's going to be the one to defend that one specifically.
Brothers separated at birth now must do battle.
It's like a Vietnam War movie, right?
I think it's the plot of The Octagon.
Oh, that is a movie I done research for this show now, and I said it's really shitty because there is no octagon. It's like Takeshi's Castle in the end.
Yeah.
Oh man! So tonight we're gonna have a full-on winner. Whoever wins at the end of this, I'm gonna try to get back for episode 3 to face a new opponent, and we're gonna do a completely different genre next episode. So that gives you motivation to try to beat your opponent. And the big topic of contention last time is: are we rooting for the movie or are we rooting for how the person argued? The hard part here is we're gonna keep going for the person that argued. So if Laurent happens to have The Punisher and Will happens to have some really terrible 80s action film, he has to argue his heart out to try to make it seem like it's better than The Punisher. Will, you going to be able to do that?
I will put my heart on it.
As long as there's a heart on, that's fine.
Will I do the same? I will do the same, Will.
Good. We are here and ready to defend and to duke it out in a Vietnam jungle, in the Asian alleyways, in cargo ships for some reason. Happens a lot. Are we ready for round 1?
What are we doing again?
We're playing virtual Chinese checkers. All right, here we go. Round number 1. Sardis says, do we deduct points for obvious lies? Yes, of course.
Oh, well, I'm fucked here. I might as well. Yeah.
Round number 1. Will, you are defending Big Trouble in Little China against Laurent with Streets of Fire. And on these first 4 battles, Will, you are arguing first. Give us the reason why Big Trouble in Little China is the superior film to Streets of Fire.
Well, when you're talking about 80s action films, you think about what old Jack Burton said. Combine all of the most delightful elements of the wuxia genre, a hefty amount of wire fu and sorcery, with some monsters, some Howard Hawks dialogue, the presence of James Hong, and in the end, following the reflexes.
That was it?
Well, last time you put us on 20-second timers, dude.
There was no timer. Nope. That was it.
If you're giving me 45 minutes, I'll go through a dissertation about it. But
Not 45 minutes, but the dissertation will wait for the next round. Laurent, tell him why Streets of Fire is much better than Big Trouble in Little China.
First of all, it doesn't have the guy who sells Gizmo. On the second round, this film is called Streets of Fire. Come on, it's not Pavement Underwater, so it's even easier. And that is the reason why it's an action movie. It's a blueprint for action movies, by the way. There's a damsel in distress. The cool guy is saving her. And instead of what Hill did with Sylvester Stallone and the guy who played Aquaman, where they throw hammers in the middle and he says, "Oh, what are we doing? Are we in the medieval times?" In Streets of Fire, they actually fight each other with hammers. So you get what you get everything, dude. Guys on a motorcycle, cool music. Basically, it's the plot with Super Mario, the same plot. You know, you can play Super Mario Bros. Or you can be a guy and watch Streets of Fire.
I want a rebuttal.
You can have one rebuttal.
I'm taking a rebuttal. Big Trouble in Little China has 2 damsels in distress, and one of them is a Chinese girl with green eyes. You know how rare that is?
That was a little better.
And by the way, all you're saying is that Streets of Fire is better than other Walter Hill movies.
Now you got me. Now you got me. No, it's one of the best ones, but it's not the best Walter Hill movie. But it's one of the best. And come on, Walter Hill is the guy who invented action movies in the 80s.
I would rather have a John Carpenter score than a Bruce Springsteen score.
Yeah, no. You seen Ghost on Mars?
That is not an 80s action film.
Although it was a pretty good rebuttal. All right, for the first round, it is time to vote. Who had the better argument? Will with Big Trouble in Little China or Laurent with Streets of Fire? Yes, you have to go on the argument, and as Stan says, it's sad because it's obviously the better film. But
Sardis says I have a weak argument, but he spelled it like 7 days.
That's because you wanted to take a 45-minute dissertation.
Well, I will from now on, now that I know that I can.
Oh, no, there will be timers coming on in a little bit. All right, give us in the chat, Will or Laurent?
And don't forget, Big Trouble in Little China is the better film objectively.
Let's not go there. All right, we got a vote from Daniel. I mean, I think he's voting for the home team.
Yeah, he's cheating.
Distorted Vision says there's no contest.
All right.
We did get a vote for Will.
I'm gonna have to call up some of my coworkers.
And Stan is flirting with Laurent.
Oh,
thank you, Stan.
I could go full Deep South with mine.
Maybe you should. Maybe that'll be a point in your corner.
All right. Well, the problem is I'm actually not Deep South. I'm more like Eastern Kentucky hillbilly, so it's an ugly accent, man.
All right. For round 1, Laurent takes the win. We are going to go with round 2. And like I said, Will, you are arguing first on this one.
Hold on. I've upset Sardis. We're gonna have to have a mediation.
The comment of Sardis is awesome.
I think I've poisoned the well. Might as well just get to the last round.
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun round. Going with the problematic individuals already. Will, you were defending Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. Laurent, Commando.
Who's problematic in Commando?
No, I wasn't necessarily talking about Commando.
Oh, okay. Well,
although I'm sure there's somebody.
I will take no Tina Turner slander. Am I on?
You're on.
Oh my God, Tina Turner, man. We don't need another hero. Who Rules Border Town? Master Blaster. I mean, so many iconic moments. It takes the car chases of the Road Warrior and combines them with the weird fantasy duels of a Beastmaster or something like that. The thing about Mel Gibson, okay, noted anti-Semite and all-around bad guy, but it's his extreme brand of Catholicism that makes his early films work, because the man seeks out torture and suffering, and that's the quality that makes Beyond Thunderdome so watchable and rewatchable. Not to mention the fact that George Miller, was going through so many, such tragedy in his own life at the time, that the despair and pain that underlies the making of the film comes through in its cinematic impression. And when Tina sings "We Don't Need Another Hero," we know that she actually means we do. We do.
I'd like to point out we're arguing 80s action films, and your first argument was Tina Turner.
She's amazing.
Not that she's not.
Yeah.
Not that she's not.
Yeah. The reason I selected this film, and I selected it over the Road Warrior, in part because of the presence of Ms. Turner and the history that she brings with her into this film.
Well, let's turn this one over to Laurent. Laurent, Commando, why is it better than Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome?
I first open my beer. And then, if you would say that Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome would be the better movie, right? I would say wrong. So here we go. No, Commando is like, nope, you can't say there's another movie like Commando. Mark L. Lester did a masterpiece when it comes to action. You got Mr. Universe, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who is a single dad. We don't know any backstory. We only know that he has a gay past with his enemy, played by Werner Wells. Yeah. And like Top Gun, it's very homoerotic through the whole movie. There is this theme I don't understand, but it's okay. And we got the best one-liners in the movie. Like I did here in the introduction, that was one of the one-liners of the movie. Then you have to realize that there's one maniac who goes alone on an island and shoots a whole military company down. And now twist aside, think about it as a worker of the Isle who's working there. Then the alarm goes off and there's a maniac running around with a rocket launcher and kill everyone. This is fantastic. This is movies. Whoa, come on, man. And besides, there's a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger is taking up a whole phone booth and throwing it. That's what I want to see in the 80s. Seriously, there was nothing more I want to see in an action movie. And believe me, many people wanted it, and even the guys behind Metal Gear Solid loved the movie. So there's a whole scene which is directly from the movie where you can crouch under a tank and have to put people in spins. Yeah, that's Commando.
Yep.
The moment when Angelo Rosito, who starred in Todd Browning's Freaks and made it all the way through that history to kind of cap his career off with Beyond Thunderdome, the moment when he consoles the blaster is one of the most affecting emotional moments in cinema history. I do not buy the paternal relationship between Schwarzenegger and Alyssa Milano. She acts rings around him. He is not worthy of her scene partner.
Well, when I'm working in my garden with an axe and carrying around a huge tree, believe me, the relationship is real. When I get ice cream in my face, it's real. It's more real than starting to argue, Tina Turner, when the guy from Rose Tattoo is in the same movie. We're talking about action movies, man. What's wrong with you? So, it's like I can quote Arnie here. My friend here, Will, is dead tired.
Oh man. Well, after that quote at the end, I mean that was pretty great. I have to feel like if somebody asked Laurent if he left anything for everybody, he'd just say, "Just bodies."
That was an
let us some steam, Bennett. I mean, come on. After a penetration, perfect.
And Daniel, 2 stupid movies.
Hey, you know what, Laurent? I'm gonna kill you last.
Okay, thank you.
That was a good way to cap that, Will. Good job. All right, everybody, who had the better argument for this one? Was it Will with Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome or Laurent with Commando? Let us know in the chat. Will or Laurent, put in your votes now, please. And as they're voting, favorite quotes from both movies. You got Mad Max, Will. What's your favorite quote?
Oh, I've never seen it.
Laurent, what's your favorite quote from Commando?
My favorite, it's let us some steam, Bennett. It's
It's iconic.
Every time I go in the toilet, I say it to myself. Let us some steam, Laurent.
All right. Unfortunately,
Who rules Border Town? Man, you know what? I think that Alice in Chains song is about me. Down in a hole. Down in a hole, and I don't know if I can be saved.
Well, funny enough, I think we're on our first epic face-off here with our next battle. This is going to be one for the ages, and one that I have been like counting down all day just to see this argument. And now, first thing we're going to do, I am going to sort of hamstring you into discussing one thing about this specific film first. I want to hear about the lead performance from both of you. And the films you're defending this time, Will, Rambo First Blood Part 2. Laurent, you got Cobra.
Fuck. I'd kill it on Cobra.
Okay, starting with the lead performance, Will, why is the lead performance in Rambo First Blood Part 2 better?
You want to die with me? Oh man. Well, you know, as I see so many of my fellow country people turning on me in the comments, I think it's actually apropos that I should be talking about Rambo, who has also been betrayed by his country, and who brings the pathos established in First Blood. You know, he drew First Blood. He brings that pathos into First Blood Part 2 and adds to it body oil. Body oil and determination. Do we get to win this time? The determination it takes to murder hundreds of actors and extras of different Asian origins who are said to be Vietnamese because Americans can't tell the difference, to murder them with explosive bow and arrows, which is really what went wrong in Vietnam the first time. We went in with all this like ultra modern technology when all we needed was bows and arrows and properly tightened headbands. First Blood, by contrast, was an actual film, an attempt at cinema. But First Blood Part 2 showed both sides of Sly Stallone's cinematic persona. He is an artist and a camp deconstruction of what we would in 2023 call toxic masculinity. This is a film about betrayal, about insecurity, and about human growth hormone. And let's not forget, in Rambo 3, the Taliban were the good guys. We don't talk about that enough.
And they don't know what blue light is.
Laurent.
So I ask you, audience, do I get to win this time?
I don't know, because Stallone is a masterpiece. And let's see what Laurent has to say about Cobra.
First of all, I have to address to Will. You forgot that the only reason he's doing this barbecue over there in Vietnam is because he loses his photo equipment.
That's one of the best parts about
no
it.
Problem with that.
You're making my argument for me.
Yeah, I help you for this one. But actually, come on. Seriously, I think Cobra is made for a person who can't speak. And so it's the perfect movie for Sylvester Stallone. I don't want to say he can't speak, but his face expressions are better than Brian Thompson's face expressions under his silk mask. I don't know. Yeah, I think with, Cobra is a person like me. He goes in a grocery store and he say, I don't shop here. I don't care if you blow everything up. So when I go in the cinema and I see a person like him on a big screen, I think like, dude, that can be me. This can be me. If I look in the cinema and I see Rambo Part 2, I think, dude, this can't be me. No way. I don't have oil. I don't got oil with me. So my body wouldn't let me look good in the supermarket. And all of a sudden, come on. When you be Stallone and you walk down an alley just to want to know who is the killer, and Angel of the City is suddenly running in the background with Robert Tappert in every fucking Stallone movie, besides Rambo 2, then it's perfect. It's a perfect match. You can't do anything better. So, Will, I'm sorry to say that you had Rambo 2. I wish we could change, but now I have Cobra, and so this point definitely goes to... we don't say it. It's okay. It's fine. You are the disease and I'm the cure. We know it. Come on.
So now that we did the lead performance, two sentences, that's it, about why your film itself is better than the other film. This time, we'll start with Laurent.
This time we start with me.
Yep.
Well, he eats pizza with a scissor. Come on. What else can I say? That's enough.
All right, Will, your 2-sentence rebuttal.
He does go chasing waterfalls. He does not stick to the rivers and lakes that he's used to.
Well, in the chat, everybody, let's give some TLC to your keyboard as you tell us who won that one. Was that Will or Laurent for Cobra or Rambo First Blood Part 2? Put their name in the chat. Silent Mandible says, "Mamma mia."
I would have talked about Brian and Brigitte. I think they're better leads in Cobra than Sly is.
Stan says I'm losing it already. Man, this one might be a shutout. We are going all Will so far.
No, man.
Yeah, we have to. We have to.
Well, this next one is also going to be a crusher. And I apologize in advance, Will. You, the two that went to Laurent and the two that went to you were higher up in his list, and the two that you had higher that matched his.
Wait, I sent mine in alphabetical order. You weren't ranked. The fuck? You didn't say to rank them.
Either way, this is going to be another wonderful round, back to back with that last one. Oh, Daniel got your sole vote here. There you go, Laurent.
I see. You got a mole in the.
Does
All
one count? I don't know.
Once again, Will, I'm sorry. Here we go. I'm not too sorry. These are two incredible movies. Laurent, you are defending The Punisher against Will defending Predator. So now, specifically on the action elements, why is your movie better than the other movie? Laurent, you're going to go first on this one.
Okay. First of all, we got a huge, massive guy who can play the Punisher perfectly. He's called Dolph Lundgren, and I think will agree with me because he owns 48 movies with Dolph Lundgren. On the other hand, we got the best action editing from Mark Goldblatt. He the director. He was the editor of Terminator and all the action flicks. And so we got the perfect package when it comes to action and the shootouts, the fights. It started with low criminals on the street, and then we go over to the Yakuza and triads, and it's so great to see that the Punisher uses so many different kinds of weapons and hand-to-hand combat with a sword, with guns, with a pump gun. We got everything we need. So in this movie, the action package, it's completed. It's completed from the front to the end, and this makes the best action movie ever made. Sorry, dude, I even got. Come on, this is real. This struggle is real. Damn, I can't show my leg, but I got the Punisher. You can't see it, but I got it tattooed on my leg. So this shows how much it means to me. This action flick, I can't get it out of my head. Even so, the Punisher doesn't wear his skull shirt in this movie, but he has a skull knife. So, there you go.
A rare moment of weakness, Will. Let's see how you counteract this.
Left so much on the table. Okay, you can't show your leg. If I shake my balls, though, it sounds just like the Predators. It sounds like the Predators clicking. Can you hear the clicking? You might not be able to hear it, but I feel it every morning.
I don't even know how to respond to that.
I don't know, man. You left a lot on the table. There's a lot to be said about the Punisher. It is off-brand. It's improperly cast outside of Lundgren, but it is a good movie. It's a favorite of mine. However, here's the thing about Predator: original concept. The Punisher has been around since '74. Already had 4 comic titles to draw from, and this is the best they could do. Come on. Predator, totally original. And what a bruh fest. So much masculinity. I mean, you got Bill Duke, you got Carl Weathers, you got Jesse Ventura, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger, you've got Shane Black. Okay, so not everybody's super masculine, but everybody wants to be super masculine. You've got the mystical Native American character whose name escapes me. This kind of perfect formation of bisexual power. You've got Jesse Ventura's chewing tobacco and expert spitting. You've got, speaking of Jesse, you've got that crazy ass Gatling gun. And then when you think about the concept, right, that these commandos are getting dropped into the jungle ostensibly to perform a quick strike and rescue, but instead find that they're up against an intergalactic hunter, right? And the film gives you just enough lore, unfortunately, to justify way too many sequels. But had it been left at 1, it would have had enough lore to intrigue its many fans, who include everyone from soft-handed exploitationeers like Quentin Tarantino to actual filmmakers who recognize what John McTiernan did with this film. Just so lean, so taut, and such a great example of what can happen when you have a real action star like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And let's be honest, I'm a Dolph Lundgren fan. I own 48 Dolph Lundgren movies. But Dolph Lundgren's no Arnie Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the superior action star. And I think Kindergarten Cop 2, which got brought up in the chat, illustrates that to some degree. Although I love Kindergarten Cop 2, the concept of it being kind of like a Montessori school is hilarious. And the scene where Dolph brings peanut butter into the school is one of the all-time funniest things ever. But that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about Predator.
Laurent, 30-second rebuttal. I'm cutting Will off.
Okay.
You'll have 30 seconds after this, Will.
First of all, Predator is not original. You've seen Alien Shock with Kevin Peter Hall, who played the Predator. It's the same story. It's an alien who attacks people, throwing disc. And also Wolfen. Combine them, you got Predator. And that your balls listen like Peter Cullen's voice. Sorry, but that's creepy. And yeah, so I go with Punisher all the way. I mean, you got a half naked, tied up Dolph Lundgren. It's better to see for a man visually than a guy who can't speak English like me.
Okay.
To see myself on the big screen, like, yeah, come on, dude, get to the chopper. No.
Will, 30 seconds, go.
It's fitting that you cut me off because one of the best things about Predator is its castration thing. When the commandos have their weaponry removed, right, their phallocentric rifles, and Schwarzenegger is forced into the primordial ooze of yonic symbolism, and it has to almost feminize himself in order to defeat the Predator. We learn so much about
time before you share. Nope, time. That was 30 seconds. Okay. We learned so much about. That's what we're leaving it at for Will. Oh my gosh, that was incredible from both of you. Okay, this one is tough for me. Votes in the chat. Did Will defend Predator better, or did Laurent defend the Punisher better? Please put their name in the chat. This was a great argument from both people. After this one, we're gonna have a break. We're gonna talk action for a minute, so we'll get loose again and figure out lay of the land. We got to vote for Will.
I see several votes for Will, actually.
I see only Will.
Just saying, Predator is a sci-fi horror, not an action movie. Punisher is and would kick the Predator's ass, says Daniel.
We're not talking about which film we prefer. We're talking about the argument.
Correct.
Technically, Predator is a movie about a pussy hunting penises.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, I know.
I'm teaching you so much.
I had the movie. I had the same argument as you, man.
Huh.
And I would say contact. You know, I had scream it here in my flat.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that's a lot of votes for Will. I love this.
We've come up even.
We have come up even after the first 4 rounds. Now, I'm going to start with Will. Some that were not on your submitted list. I'm going to try to keep it fairly benign to not spoil any of Laurent's picks, and I know that you don't know them. But could you give me 2 or 3 that perhaps were not on your list that you also really love, that were not on your final 12?
Are we taking a break?
Yeah, we're just taking a break, talking action for a minute.
We're taking a break, and you have to think.
We're all friends again now.
Well, we remain friends. We are Lungrinos.
Yeah, we remain friends here, but on Facebook, I dislike you.
I don't have Facebook because I'm not a sex predator.
Perfect.
That seemed rather personal. All right, 2 or 3 that were not on your list, Will, that were big for you.
What did I send you? I'm gonna have to pull up my email. Hold on. I cut out a bunch because at first I thought you wanted us to do I thought you wanted us to do like an objective list. So I had in my original list I had like Spielberg movies. So those I left Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer. I left off Delta Force with Chuck Norris shooting out his like butt missile. I love that. Escape from New York, I left out. That was a Highlander.
Yeah, I was surprised to see no Highlander or Escape from New York on either of your lists.
I left off Cyborg, which is one of my favorite movies. Pew, pew, pew.
Albert.
So that's a partial list. I left off a ton of Hong Kong martial arts films, whittling down to my final 12 because these were the 12 that I grew up really loving, that like had an impact on me. And a lot of the Hong Kong films that I loved, I didn't see until later in life.
All right. Next up, Laurent, 2 or 3 that were not on your list.
I don't know what I sent you either. But,
It's been a long time.
it was a long time ago, 300 years from now. Police Story. I did I miss Police Story? Did I? Yeah, I missed it, right? So that would be one I could have put on the list, but I thought maybe it's too. You want more the action American movies and not the Eastern ones.
Not necessarily. And I just rewatched Police Story. That recent 4K, that looks fantastic.
It's much more badass than Bad Boys 2, right?
Oh yeah.
When they drive with the car through the favela. Don't mention it. The Asians know how to do it.
And that was like 6 minutes into the movie. That's the best part. It's like a primer for what's to come.
Yeah. And okay, they didn't go full hard way, because I thought the person who's handcuffed to the wheel would go down and has to run beside the car, but no, that wasn't possible. There was no CGI back then. So yeah, other movies I missed. I don't know. Seriously, I'm a huge fan of Casablanca. This is an action movie too, by the way. There are 2 shootings in the movie, and in the first shooting, one gets shot, so I count it as an action movie.
That's all it takes to be action, is somebody gets shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Well then,
in Germany,
all of it
is the way.
All of America is an action film. Oh, depression.
So does that make Chicago an action movie?
Yeah, of course. Everything that has a gun in Germany is an action movie.
Oh,
you go to the video store, it's in the section action.
How disappointing it must be to get home and watch Chicago thinking.
Wow.
It's like the time back in the day, and went to a video store, and somebody had misfiled Fanny and Alexander in the porn section. Yeah,
it's the word Fanny.
Yeah, that guy saw, like, man, there's 3 videos. This was going to be awesome. Get some. And he's like, okay, this little boy's getting whipped. Thinks, all right, it's coming. And no, it never does.
Wow.
Would be awesome to work in such a store again nowadays. I mean, if a parent comes in and says, do you have something with fairy tales? You say, of course we got fairy tale. And then you give them the Full Moon movie from Charles Mann. Awesome.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
Just as a handshake moment, both of you are huge Charles Band fans.
Oh my God. Really? Yes. The man what did John Carpenter said, after the nuclear war, only 2 creatures will survive: cockroaches and Charles Band.
my first guess in the past was Lemmy, but Lemmy missed. So I go with Charles Band today. No,
Charles Band is still standing. Man, come on, Full Moon.
Somehow that's come up the last 2 times with you on the show now. All right.
You should visit our store at Wicked Vision. I think we got some Full Moon. I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think we got some Full Moon.
I'll browse.
The second half of our bracket is starting with a doozy. 2 of my favorites. And Will, this is where you come back after losing 2 of the tied picks from last time that you lost, that you had picked, that he also picked. You get a big one here, my friend. Will, you are defending Bloodsport against Laurent defending Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
That is a tough one, although you got way more titties than I do.
This is true. Way more snakes, too. Will, you can go first on Bloodsport, and you can go all in. We can give you a couple minutes on why Bloodsport is the far superior movie to Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I'm going to start out with an anecdote. I had a student many years ago. His name was Justin Dean. and he went on to be a projectionist at the North Carolina School of the Arts. So I was really proud of him. And Machete had just come out, the Robert Rodriguez film. And he said, hey, Professor, would you like to go see Machete with me? And I said, sure thing. Let me fill my flask with scotch. And we started talking about action movies, and it turned out he had never seen Bloodsport. So I said, Justin, I'm going to need you to sit down on my futon here. And we're going to watch Bloodsport and then go to a later screening of Machete, because I don't know what kind of movie Machete is going to be, but I do know what kind of movie Bloodsport is. And I do know that if we watch Bloodsport, you will end this night happy. And we watched Bloodsport together, and it was the first time I'd gotten to witness another person seeing Bloodsport for the first time. And the joy that radiated from this young man filled my heart with purpose. And I realized that part of who I need to be as a person is an evangelical for Bloodsport. Never mind that it's based upon a lie. Never mind that it is the fever dream of an insecure man, Mr. Frank Lux, what's his name?
Dux. Frank Dux.
Frank Dux. In fact, the false pretenses under which this film was put together make it even better. The concept of the kumite, the leanness of this film, the way each character is introduced through their fighting styles, no matter how racist they might be. Is a masterclass in action movie storytelling. The character is defined by their fighting style. The occasion for their interaction is simple but compelling. And the presence of Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds as basically the love interest makes it both masculine in a traditional way and masculine in a progressive way. And I haven't even gotten to the real star of the film, Bolo Young, whose tits, I think, run rings around the breasts of Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I'll stop there for now, but I've got more in the chamber.
All right, Laurent. That seemed like a precursor more than an argument. So let's dive in. Hard Ticket to Hawaii. First of all, there's some people in the chat that have no idea what this is, and I have to say it's one of my favorites from the 80s. Why don't you give a rundown on what Hard Ticket to Hawaii is?
Everybody needs to look up Andy Sedaris after tonight.
Yes.
I got to stand up for this because I start with an anecdote.
I thought you were standing.
No, I was sitting standing. But I watched Hard Ticket to Hawaii with my ex-girlfriend, and we were expecting not what we expected to see. Well, I will go on with what you said with Bolo Young. I will start with Andy Sedaris. You got a triple B, not in the size of your breast. It's breasts, boobs, and babes. And this is exactly what the plot of this movie is. If you think you know what the plot of the movie is, forget it. It's about some nice playmate girls going on an island where a drug lord has a problem. And there are a lot of fights. And there's a big snake. Not this snake. You can easily get confused by what I'm saying now. No, it's a real snake that is poisonous because it's influenced with cancer from rats who had cancer. They put the blood from this rats into the snake and make it even more poisonous. Makes sense. No, it doesn't. It's Andy Sidaris. It's okay. It's fine. It's about, as I said, boobs, babes, and bombs. And to be honest, I will have keep something in my back now because obviously it's the best part why you have to see this movie to understand what action means in nowadays society. But dude, there's no kumite, there's no monkey fighter, which you mentioned.
I did not.
And there's no muscles from Brussels, which can compete with the breast from Sidaris movies. So, yeah, I have to stop now because people are more confused now for what I was saying, and then the conclusion comes in the next round.
It is 4:00 in the morning, so that makes sense. Will, a rebuttal to that.
I don't even know what the fuck he was talking about.
That's an Andy Sidaris movie.
I disagree. I think Andy Sidaris movies are generally pretty tightly written. I understood the plot of Hard Tickets to Hawaii quite well, but I'm not defending that film. Look, this is the movie that made Jean-Claude Van Damme the star that he is, and with good reason. You know, people forget, as he pointed out in the great JCVD, Van Damme's acting in his third language. Try that. You know, I don't even have a second because I'm an American. You know, I've been robbed by the educational system of this fucking country
that you're a part of.
And well, I advocate for change, but you know. Anyways, I want to go back to the structure of Bloodsport because the thing that, in my mind, elevates it from not only other Van Damme movies, of which there are more good ones than people give him credit for, but of other 80s action films or even other action films of different decades, is the compelling simplicity of the storytelling. This is a film about a man who reluctantly gets drawn into an underground fighting tournament, is kind of forced into a position where he must train to fight above his means, in which he pulls out a victory. In many ways, it's influenced by Rocky. Let's not beat around that bush. But it has something that Rocky doesn't have, which is complete side splits. You know, complete side splits.
This is true. I almost thought you were going to give a serious answer like charisma, but that's okay. Laurent, a rebuttal.
This is a serious answer.
First of all, what movie have you seen? I seen Bloodsport recently, and it was about a little child who gets sold by his parents to an Asian guy who trains him and beats the shit out of him.
Yeah, it was the inspiration for
It's child trafficking. It was child trafficking in the movie. I don't know. It's crazy times. And the split, yeah, it was between two seats. I don't know if
Bloodsport does not exploit women.
Yeah.
It exploits ogre.
Let me come to Andy Sidaris. The confusing stuff I said is because if you've seen Andy Sidaris movie, you can expect a good action movie with a lot of explosions, a lot of guns, and sexy sport clips. If you remember sexy sport clips in the 90s, it was something that was on night television. I don't know if it's in the US, if it's the same, but in Germany, you can see a lot of naked girls. And I think Andy Sidaris, who worked for the television, was in Germany, saw that and said, you know what, I make it for the movies. I make it for the movies so the American audience can see tits.
Yeah, Andy Sidaris was like, let me do it like the Germans.
Yeah. I put a gun in a movie and then it's an action movie. So,
no one has ever said that.
And then you have the whole construct of people fighting against a drug lord, and they use not only weapons, they use a frisbee, which is a prepared frisbee with some razor blades on it, so the bad people lose their fingers while playing frisbee. We have seen it a lot on beaches.
Bloodsport
a mistake.
Bloodsport uses broken glass gloves.
No, that was kickboxer.
Fuck, you're right.
Yeah. That is,
On that note, I think it's time to vote, and then we're going
Yeah.
to talk about these two movies again. We're going to vote in the comments now if you think Will defended Bloodsport better compared to Laurent with Hard Ticket to Hawaii. I know this is tough. Again, it's the arguments, not the film itself.
I prefer the Eric Estrada era of Sedaris. Just saying.
I love
Anthony wants to know,
Will Smith 7 was perfect.
Laurent, will your company release the uncut version of Kickboxer? I don't want to pay that one guy $70 for a bootleg.
No.
Such an easy answer.
Hey, you know what? If I had a company, I would.
Yeah, if I would have a company, I would too. But man, it's money.
I just want the voters to hear that. That's all.
Also, okay.
Oh man, this is
Wait, you missed the Mortal Kombat. Will you could use Mortal Kombat for
In
your
your
argument for Bloodsport.
In your game machine?
No, the movie, the game is based on the movie, and Johnny Cage is based on Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Well, okay, that's an argument in my favor. Bloodsport does not have KMFDM, but that's okay.
so. Will has won this one according to the votes, but now that we're back to even for a moment, how good are both of these movies? Like, first off, so many people have never heard of Andy Sedaris in the chat or have never seen anything. Hard Ticket to Hawaii is wild. Like, there is a snake for like 45 seconds in the first part of the movie, and then they forget about it for 84 minutes, and then suddenly there's a snake again at the end, and it's so pointless.
Listen, everybody, go see every Andy Sedaris movie, and then Google all of Joe Bob Briggs' interviews with Andy Sedaris. Rest in peace, Julie Strain. These are the films that made her the great star that she is, remains, will be forever. That's it.
And then Laurent, Bloodsport. How much do you love Bloodsport?
I love it. I love it so much. It was hard. It was really hard for me to compare it with Hard Ticket to Hawaii because
I almost handed it to you by conflating Kickboxer, and then I forgot. No, of course. Almost as soon as I said it, I was like, "Shit, wrong one."
No, it's a fun movie, Bloodsport, and I think it was one of the best ones from Van Damme, hands down.
Yeah,
and without Bloodsport, we don't have the actual UFC fights and all this stuff. It's basically.
I should have thought of that.
Yeah.
Bloodsport, JCVD.
Yeah, you should have thought of that, huh?
Bloodsport and JCVD are two standout films.
And the fighters in the movie were real fighters. That
Yeah.
is something that has to be mentioned out, because in many action movies, the fighters aren't the real fighters. They have stuntmen. Except Scott Adkins and people like them. But in Bloodsport, everyone in the cage was a real fighter.
I recently saw a film where Bolo Young was a good guy, and I cannot remember what it was now all of a sudden. But I was like, holy shit, Bolo Young's a good guy.
I saw recently Shanghai Police, where Bolo Young was one of the background people, and there he was a good guy too.
Okay, it's not that, but now I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
I love Bolo Young.
With Laurent here and a focus on Germany, I do want to throw out that Cape Light in Germany just released a 4K of Bloodsport. Hoping that some copies of that start making its way to some of the U.S. retailers, but also hoping that it gets a 4K release in the States. Somebody needs to put that out. That'd be a really fun, like, VSU from Vinegar Syndrome.
Yeah.
That'd be a huge title.
Laurent, we can team up for a commentary track.
We should.
Oh my God. It would be amazing.
Yeah. And I speak like Van Damme, like he does in Street Fighter.
We could pretend you are Van Damme, and I could just interview you. And you could dance.
Yeah. But not kickboxer dance. We should dance like in breaking. in the background, you know.
Oh yeah, he was so good in Breaking.
All right. We are going for our second matchup of the second half of the bracket. And this will be a fun one, especially because one of the individuals in one of these has been in the limelight quite a lot this year.
Uh-oh.
Will, you're defending Magnificent Warriors. Laurent, you're defending Lethal Weapon. Laurent, you can take this one first.
No, let's do Will the first.
Okay.
Oh,
I
so
think
someone's not confident.
Who is not confident? I'm confident.
I didn't know we had the option to just refuse to defend the film.
He's not refusing to defend it. He's saying ladies first.
You can start. I said you can start.
Magnificent Warriors, ladies first, right?
Okay. I'll remember that. All right. Well, let's start off with how not anti-Semitic this film is. Magnificent Warriors. Now it is fairly anti-Japanese, but but not a single anti-Semitic bone in its body. The first thing that I love about this film, this is what, 1985, 84, 85, I think. Michelle Yeoh is so.
This is 1987.
Did I ask for a correction?
Yes.
All right.
He's just speaking.
This is a conspiracy.
I'm trying to help, my friend. Go ahead.
Let me start over. I'm starting over. This film from 1987 has zero anti-Semitism in it. And one of the great things about it is how much joy and fun Michelle Yeoh is having. As the film progresses, you almost forget that thousands of people die in this movie. Thousands. The milieu of the Sino Chinese War brings a gravitas to the film. But what really matters is the action sequences featuring Yeoh and all the other cast who manage with a gang of 4.5 with the swindler character, managed to take down an entire army. And I have to think that that John Landis saw this film because the Three Amigos kind of lifts potentially elements of the besieged Chinese town's defense sequence. Just saying. I mean, not that John Landis would ever steal from other movies or murder people. But I will say, look, the only argument I need to make about this film is Michelle Yeoh. She's been finally recognized for what she's always been, an absolute consummate performer, not just as a martial artist, but as an actress. She brings to this film a perfect combination of humor, of historical accuracy, and of pathos as she manages to skirt the lines of flirtation and actual romance with whatever the other character's name is. So I got to say, this film, if you've never seen it before, you need to add it to your queue this week. The stunt work, the story, and the performances, the dramatic performances, are absolutely unreal. This was on my list. It is the newest movie on my list in terms of how late in life I was when I saw it for the first time, and it leapfrogged over many, many films that would be on people's top 10 lists.
Interesting. And I will say, just to shout out recent releases, Eureka did put this out in the UK. It is one of 4 from the In the Line of Duty series that you can get by itself, and then 88 Films is releasing it in a box set for In the Line of Duty in the US. I think this box set's been weird. They said basically as soon as we have it in stock, it'll be released rather than giving it a release date, and it's listed as coming in the middle of May. So
it's in the set.
Yeah.
God damn it! I already got the movie. All right, well, vote for me, and you'll get a free copy of Magnificent Warriors in the mail.
Hold him to it. Laurent, how is Lethal Weapon?
I'm so confused. Is it about action movies? I think Will is like a politician. He talks and talks, and I don't know. I was out. It's not because it's 3 a.m. here in Germany. I was out. Yeah, I don't know what he wants from me.
Your vote.
Yeah. I vote for me, and I send you everything from Wikipedia. No, that wasn't.
Oh, I just got Wikipedia's vote.
So, we're coming up now with a Lethal Weapon. A Lethal Weapon for me is really important because you have a body cop movie. This concept, people say it started with 48 hours, but that doesn't make sense because you have a prisoner and a cop, and now you have 2 cops as a body cop movie working together, and they are like yin and yang. You know, you have the family father, Murtaugh. He's a black person, which I really like in an action movie. I like black persons meeting white persons and the 2 cultural differences. It's awesome. And then you have Mel Gibson. I think who better person you can have as a partner when it comes to we don't go down that lane, but who has a psychotic problem and suicide thoughts and everything, and they grow up together and stick together because first they hate each other and then they grow up so much that we have a whole series out of this movie where we get even deeper in every movie, and we feel with them, and we love these characters, we love the figures. And I think what Shane Black, who did also Predator, but who wrote the screenplay for Lethal Weapon, he made an awesome job and showed us that you can write when you have a good script and good actors who can play well, you have an awesome movie, and Lethal Weapon is one of them. And the stunts in this movie, man, Dar Robinson is in this movie. It's one of his last movies, Dar Robinson. He was the guy who invented the stunt in the movie Stick with Burt Reynolds, where he's falling down a ceiling and he only has a cable on his leg, but the cable was nearly invisible. And Lethal Weapon, he has one of his last showings, and there he's falling down from a ceiling again, hanging on a rope which is invisible. So yeah, hands down, I think Lethal Weapon, this movie made history, and many action movies based on this concept later on from Lethal Weapon, they stole it from Lethal Weapon. So if you have any buddy cop movies in the 90s, in the late 80s, you know, first of all, there was Lethal Weapon, and then came the others. So that's it.
There is no question whatsoever that Lethal Weapon ripped off 48 Hours. Okay. A. And B, Magnificent Warriors has 0 mullets.
Wow. Oh, look at that. Mike Leader showed up to say, I came in at the right time. Dar Robinson was a legend. That's amazing.
First of all, Lethal Weapon is in the same universe as Monster Squad. You know?
You're not.
Yes.
Monster Squad.
We see Murder's House. We see it in Monster Squad. So there you go.
Monster Squad is the superior film.
For the record, Monster Squad released by Wicked Vision. Go buy it now.
Yes, everyone should buy it.
Did I heard something?
Monster Squad is.
But that
Monster Squad. Let me tell you something. Monster Squad has show enough in it.
Will, we are not propping up Monster Squad.
Yeah, exactly. You get that out of here. I didn't try to bias everybody by talking about everything, everywhere, all the movie that Ryan likes so much.
The first thing you said was that your movie isn't have any anti-Semitism.
It's true. It doesn't.
I mean, you don't know that.
I'm pretty sure.
But no, really, Lethal Weapon, the stunts, the famous jump from the rooftop. It's one of the iconic stunts which I really love and enjoy and see every time again. I love it. I think every time I see this scene, I think, well, maybe I'm like Riggs. I would do the same. I would put him handcuffs and just jump.
Unlike Mel Gibson, Michelle Yeoh could just do it by herself.
Yeah, you're right. You're right with that one. Okay.
She didn't need to be replaced by a professional.
On that note, let's go to voting. Just a reminder, Will was defending Magnificent Warriors. Laurent was defending Lethal Weapon. Who put up the better defense? Again, not which movie is better. Who defended their movie better?
To be clear, Michelle Yeoh versus Mel Gibson.
That's not what we're arguing.
Oh, okay. I retract my statement.
Names in the comments. Who won this one? Daniel
As I said, Will is like a politician. He wants to.
It's true. Daniel says, best movie ever, Monster Squad. It is an action movie. It has guns. Oh, that's funny.
I think everybody's voting for Monster Squad.
No, but seriously, 48 Hours is not a buddy cop movie because Eddie Murphy is not a cop. So is there even a prison
you're right.
buddy movie like Great Escape or something? I don't know.
You're right. Shane Black made an artistic change.
Yeah.
Yeah. He took 48 Hours and he was like, what if
they were both cops?
What if they were both cops? Got it. Thanks, Hollywood.
All right. Laurent has won that one. We are I mean, first of all, how much does Shane Black love Christmas? So many of his movies are based around Christmas.
Maybe he didn't celebrate it as a child and has a trauma, and now he's doing it in his movies.
Could be. I am very much looking for this next one as well. We've got two of literally the best of all time, and I think that
Freebie and the Bean.
What was that?
Oh, sorry. Spaghetti pointed out the Freebie and the Bean cop movie. It's great film. You know who was a big fan of that film? Stanley Kubrick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you asked him?
Yeah, we talked
last Thursday. Oh man, Mike Leader wants to shout out Sergeant Rock, the Shane Black movie, and then Stan Geezy says Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is Shane Black's best.
Yeah, we got the Sergeant Rock movie. He reads a comic in Predator, right?
Good call.
I think so. He has a comic of Sergeant Rock from DC Comics.
I find Shane Black problematic, a little misogynistic for my taste.
I love him in Dead Heat. I think he has the best role in Dead Heat.
I believe you that he's better than Joe Piscopo. Yes.
Yeah.
That's not difficult. All right. This next one, Laurent, you are absolutely going first on this one. And this is going to be a legendary matchup. Laurent, you are defending The Killer from John Woo. Will, you are defending RoboCop. And this is a big heavy hitter. This is a hell of a matchup. Two of the most important action movies of the 80s, easily. Laurent, The Killer.
Yeah.
Hit us with why this is better than RoboCop.
First of all, Killer was the entrance for John Woo to came to America and make action movies in America. I think he makes sure with this movie that he has a perfect blueprint of showing that he's a master of action movies. We have with The Killer a combination of action movie and love movie and also drama. We got every genre mixed in this particular movie. And what we see later on, like Luc Besson did a kind of same way with Leon. We have a killer who regrets some mistakes he did in his job, doing an assassination. Something went wrong. He made a mistake, and now he regrets it and want to, make. I don't know the English term for it, but he regrets it and he wants to make it the best way possible for his future. And this is the struggle he have, and this is the struggle we see during the movie. And while he's also an assassination and hitman doing his work, he has to struggle his personal things, and we see both sides. And this is amazing, and it all comes down to a huge showdown, which is the showdown we see after that in every fucking John Woo movie. I mean, we need doves, we need a church, we need candles, and we need a big shootout and a lot of blood. And believe me, the killer has one of the most spectacular scenes in the end, where every time I watch it, I cry. I really cry because it's so intense. It's amazing, and I don't want to spoil it for the people. You have to see it if you haven't watched it. But it's you. I say so much. If you are blind in a situation like this, it really gets you mad, because
So it's a good movie for blind people.
it is. There is a blind person in the movie, but at the end, let's say it this way: love can make both blind. And it's one of the movies which I really appreciate, that there's so much drama and romance in an action flick, and really great combined.
That's a good argument. What do you got for us, Will? Why is RoboCop better than The Killer?
Don't go for the pathos like that. Look, only one of these films has Lisa Gibbons of Entertainment Tonight fame.
Okay.
Well, clearly we have work to do. Look, yes, you're right. We have The Killer to thank for Paycheck. Great. Glad that we got Woo to Hollywood for that. Look, we're talking about RoboCop here. Guns, guns, guns. This is one of the greatest satires in the history of action films. Paul Verhoeven at his very best, giving us an indictment of the militarization of American police, of the privatization of incarceration, crime, and punishment, of the instrumentation of labor. This is a film that both Marx and Asimov could appreciate. This is a film that spoke the future as it was happening. This is a film that gave us the greatest of great one-liners. Bitches leave, guns, guns, guns. I'd buy that for $1. And so many other, stay out of trouble. So many other great ones. How many one-liners do we get from The Killer? Zero. I'm glad somebody recognizes Lisa Gibbons, because she was a promising young newscaster. You're right. We wouldn't have Showgirls without RoboCop. We wouldn't have Starship Troopers without RoboCop. This was the film that brought Verhoeven to America. We wouldn't have Basic Instinct without RoboCop. We wouldn't have Total. Thank you for helping me. We wouldn't have Total Recall without RoboCop. How many great American films did Woo make?
Hot Target.
Face Off.
Hot Target. Face Off.
Well, okay.
A Face Off is a good movie,
great.
by the way.
Yes.
Good. Both of those are good.
And
They're not great.
he did also good movies in Hong Kong. He did.
Yes, he did. He did great in Hong Kong, and he did great movies.
Come on, Laurent. Wake up.
Well, anyway, we're talking about
Hardboiled. Here we go.
that was before that. Well, we're not talking about Hardboiled. Where was I? RoboCop. Oh my gosh, the whole concept, right? Which, and you know what else is fucking amazing about RoboCop? It spawned a ton of children's entertainment, including cartoons and toys. How fucked up is that? How amazing is that? How wondrous is that? How American is that? The fact that that happened shows the prescient prophecy of Verhoeven, who should be remembered as not just a great director, but an all-time great director. The performances, Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Kurtwood Smith, Ronnie Cox. I mean, so many iconic performances. Every time I see an episode of that 70s show, I want Kurtwood Smith to say, "Bitches leave." It's just it's just the greatest. Like I'm devolving now because the argument at this point has to be RoboCop is just the greatest. When the T-1000 falls over and tries to get back up, it's one of the funniest upside down turtle moments in the history of the world. Look, The Killer's a great film. Nobody's going to deny that. I would never deny that. I love The Killer. I've taught The Killer. But RoboCop, it's just, The Killer is so focused on its Christian redemption story, whereas RoboCop has so much going on in it, so much beyond that, so much that's more relevant than the sort of religious flagellation aspect.
All right, we're gonna cut that off there. 30 second rebuttal from Laurent, and then 30 seconds from Will. Ready, go.
Well, we don't got any toys of the Killer, but we got video games of the Killer called Max Payne. Bullet time is a huge thing that was created by John Woo. I just want to mention it. But also, I think RoboCop, yeah, it has some religious stuff in there. And like The Killer, it's a hybrid. It's a science fiction action movie. And The Killer is a dramatic action movie, but more based in the real world. So I think I go more with The Killer, personally, because I can identify with the persons more. Not in the shootouts, obviously. I'm not a trained Marine, but and not a trained hitman. But it's more realistic in a more grounded way, I think. And so it's a better action flick.
All right, Will. You can have the same 45 seconds he had. Go ahead.
So you're saying we have The Killer to thank for Marky Mark and Max Payne? Is that
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, don't.
That's some collateral damage. Look, you know who probably prefers The Killer to RoboCop? Mel Gibson.
Me too.
So if you vote for The Killer, you're voting with Mel Gibson. Like you're saying, I stand with Mel Gibson.
Wow.
Haven't you in your list Mad Max Beyond Thunder? Just wondering.
That was a different argument. What are you talking about?
You did well for a little while. Then that was rough at the end there. Let's have some voting. Reminder that we are voting for who had the better defense, not the better film. Either way, I think this one would be hard even to say better film. Like these are two
I'd say
singular films.
It's impossible to say it's a better film. They're both equal. They're on the high rank.
All right.
You're voting for the man.
In the chat, choose Will or Laurent to win this one. Let's see. Daniel says, I think without John Woo and The Killer, we wouldn't have many action films today. Maybe not even John Wick. The way the ballet with guns, slow motion, bullet time, blood. It's an important film.
Yes, sure. That's true. I see that, Christian. Go fuck yourself.
Wow. I mean, we got a couple here at the end.
Oh, hey. All right, Kyle. All right, Gary. You wouldn't even know The Killer if it wasn't for me, you motherfucker.
All right. It appears that Laurent has barely won that one.
Oh.
Sorry.
The betrayal. Have I gotten any votes from Wicked Vision? And yet my students vote for Laurent. Go ahead.
Mike Leader says Will's a feisty one.
I am. I believe in my cinema.
Oh, Sardis hasn't seen The Killer. Oh man.
You have to see it. Really.
Wait,
Yeah.
Don't abstain. It's not about the movie. It's about the argument.
I will say,
Which one would you rather see after that? That's the question.
Yeah. That's
this is very similar to me to Bloodsport versus Hard Ticket to Hawaii. Both of these are like seminal. Everybody has to see these films.
Well, Bloodsport's better than Hard Ticket to Hawaii.
Objectively better, but I may be more entertained by Hard Ticket.
and Bloodsport has Stan Bush in his soundtrack, so it's better.
Well, and we like different kinds of titties. That's the thing. I prefer Bolo Young's titties.
You know that he calls himself King Kong? No.
Hey, let's do an episode just about Bolo Young films. I would do that.
That'd be fun.
But the reference to King Kong isn't wrong. I think in Double Impact he throws he throws something like Donkey Kong. Yeah.
All right. We are on our final initial battle. We can find out what the last two films are. Will, you are going first on this one. And you are doing a film that is very important as well. Oh, Mike. I love that. You are doing a really good one, but I believe this is going up against one of Laurent's favorite films of all time. So,
well, I can just refuse to go first, right?
You can, technically. You are going first to defend Project A against Laurent's Eye of the Tiger.
Oh, okay. I choose to go second.
Should I go offline too now? No. No problem.
Laurent,
No problem.
Why is Eye of the
defend
Tiger one of the best ones ever?
Yeah, Eye of the Tiger is one of the best ones ever because we have Gary Busey in his highest times before he had the motorcycle accident. Speaking of motorcycles, the movie is about motorcycles. It's about a gang led by William Smith who's terrorizing a little town. And we have the old concept of High Noon, somebody who's against the bad guys on his own. So we got a little Punisher vibes now here. And it ended like a biblical fight at the end. Now Will is gone. Okay, Will, I'm not finished yet. But what makes Eye of the Tiger so special is you definitely see that the guys who make the movie are interested in stunts, which is for me one of the best things in action movies. Like today, John Wick, without his stunts, it's not a movie. Yep. And the same goes for Eye of the Tiger. They use the soundtrack from Survivor better than the Rocky movies. Now it makes sense because he got the Eye of the Tiger, Gary Busey. And it starts as a revenge movie, which gets even harder and harder and harder and harder. And nearly the end, it's in a Vietnam movie. Seriously, it's getting to a Vietnam War movie at the end. So if you haven't seen it, I say to you, you have to see it because this is one of the most important action flicks of the 80s. And the who is who from the stunts, Gene LaBelle, Tony Brubaker, everyone is in this movie. So this is the compendium of stunts is Eye of the Tiger.
And if you haven't seen it, one of the best ways you can see it is in this wonderful Wicked Vision media book, still available from their website. Please go buy it.
Now this is what I call commercial here.
All right, Will, you are up for Project A.
I agree. Everybody should go buy Eye of the Tiger, but that is some unfair bias. Unfair bias. Look, if we're going to talk about stunts, you're not going to beat Project A. We're talking about Wen Bao. We're talking about Sammo Hung. We're talking about Jackie Chan. And you know what? This is the film where Jackie Chan broke his goddamn skull in service of this film. And did he stop filming when he broke his skull?
Unfortunately,
No.
no.
He kept going. Did Nick Nolte do a stunt? No.
Who's Nick Nolte?
Did Gary Busey do a stunt? Also no. Also no. Are the two interchangeable? Yes, in my mind. Look, Project A. Not only is Project A an absolute primer in Jackie Chan action, it is also a history lesson in some part of China, Chinese like lore that I feel like I learned a lot from. Look, Jackie Chan broke his skull, and not only did it break his skull, but they show him breaking his skull like 10 times. How could any other movie top watching Jackie Chan break his skull 10 times and then knowing that he got up and was like, I'm okay, and kept making the movie?
You seen the making of? He didn't say I'm okay. They came with many ambulance and rushed into the hospital, and they have many problems with the insurance company.
I'm speaking figuratively, of course. The point is, the point is, he never stopped. Never. Jackie Chan never stops.
He's one of the greatest for sure. But Eye of the Tiger. Any memorable things, Laurent, that you would throw out as just simply better about Eye of the Tiger, other than Jackie Chan breaking his skull?
Yeah, I mean, they usually break his skull later on.
You're going to get a moment too.
But what?
Will is trying to butt in. I'm telling him to calm down. You're good.
Oh, no problem. I'm good. I'm fine. No, but Eye of the Tiger, for me, especially, it's as I said, it's an American way of showing their stunts and their performances. And of course, Jackie Chan is a whole nother level when we talk about stunts. But what they show here in Eye of the Tiger is what you can do with motorcycles, with explosions and fighting. And the end fight, oh man, Will Smith scene getting beaten up by Gary Busey, it's the best thing. And Yaphet Kotto standing next to that saying like, get it, dude. You do it. Perfect movie.
Does anyone get killed with a hand grenade?
No. Just one get decapitated with a metal line.
But no hand grenade in a carpet.
No.
Any pirates?
Pirates?
Project A has pirates.
Yeah, no, dude. We have a Vietnam War. Pirates were way back over there. So we are not Pirates of the Caribbean style here. No.
No, it's not always there's no Johnny Depp eyeliner pirates. These are real pirates. These are real pirates.
Yeah, Captain Hook is there.
Was there a sequel to Eye of the Tiger?
Not officially. There was a second movie where and by the way, Eye of the Tiger has the best car next to Kid and the A-Team van. It's combined. He has a combined car. He has Kid and the A-Team van combined, and this makes a lot of trouble for the bad guys. So
okay,
here we go.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I can't argue against that. You know what? Fuck it. Go ahead and vote for love Knight Rider.
After all that. Oh, you're so kind. All right. We are going to call an end to Eye of the Tiger versus Project A. Will defended Project A. Laurent defended Eye of the Tiger.
Look,
please give a name in your comment for who you're voting on. We'll give it a good 30, 45 seconds.
I'm you're voting for the argument, not the film, but it is also true that Project A is the better film. I'm just saying both things are true. That's all.
It sounded like you were going to be diplomatic for a moment, but no, just shove it, I guess.
Oh man, you know what? Hey, this is so much fun. I got to tell you, I've had such a bad week, and like earlier today, I was like, how can I get out of doing this tonight? But honestly, my friendship with you, Ryan, and my desire to meet Laurent for the first time, which I was so excited about, led me to say, you know what, just push on through. And from the moment I got here, totally not related to the wine. I've just had such a great time, and I'm just loving it. I'm so happy to meet you. This is holy shit, man. Like, I can't even believe this is my life right now. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Laurent. Thank you, everybody that's out there. This is I'm just taking a moment to be genuine. This is a genuinely wonderful moment. I'm so happy to be here.
It's pretty cool to have people across multiple states in the U.S. battling with somebody in Germany. We've got viewers from the U.S., from Germany, from Hong Kong watching right now. Like, this is pretty incredible.
And I'm feeling a lot better since I peed in this bottle. I was having trouble there for a while.
It was so emotional, Will, and then came the pee joke.
Amazing. As you just said that you're having a great time, unfortunately, almost all of the votes are for your opponent.
That's fine. I'll give it up.
Oh, wow. So this is going to be fun because as we go to the second round, the first half of the bracket, you guys were split perfectly evenly. On the second half, Laurent has taken one more than the first half, so he's up 3-1. So I'm going to change one of these two titles over to Will's name and make him defend the other one.
Is charity or punishment?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. So now, in this second round, what we are going to do, this is time where we have 8 films left, and I would like to hear your very impassioned defense of why it is the more inspirational to other films type of action film. And for many of these, they are some incredible films. This is going to be a time where it's good to bring up references. It's good to bring up things that include credits. It's good to bring up pieces of information that shows your knowledge of overall 80s cinema.
You know, I'm not really an action guy, right?
I do.
Me neither.
More of a romantic comedy kind of dude. But
I remember, believe me. Let me see. I've got to change one more thing real quick.
Oh, Sardis, you've got a lot of films you need to see. You got to check out Project A. What else did you say you hadn't seen before? Killers. You got to see the Killer. You got to see the Killer.
And you gotta see Roadhouse. The following, you have to see following 3 movies in one specific order. Roadhouse, because Patrick Swayze is working as a bouncer and hitting people up. Then he gets frustrated in Dirty Dancing and he sleeps with little girls. And he gets punished for it by Donnie Darko because he got way too far. Sorry.
I'm glad we weren't debating that one. The Roadhouse though is so great. I use Roadhouse when I'm training resident advisors at college. I give them the 3 rules scene. Love Roadhouse. I'm pretty sure that the people he sleeps with in Dirty Dancing are of age. I just want to make sure that that's.
Yeah, but yeah. Who knows? It has a reason why it's called Dirty Dancing.
I love it. Okay, so like I said, we are now talking about like the impact of the legacy of this film onto other action films. Will, there is no passing the buck anymore. You are first this time. You are defending Commando, and Laurent is defending Streets of Fire.
What's that movie about? I'm supposed to say why it's influential?
Yes. Why Commando is more impactful to other action films than Streets of Fire.
Okay.
I kind of want to give you a countdown and just say you're done.
Well, look. So first of all, this really kicked off. Prior to this, Mark Lester had been better known for sexploitation movies like Gas Pump Girls or whatever that stuff was called. This really got him into an action era that culminates in the Dolph Lundgren Brandon Lee team up Showdown in Little Tokyo. So there's certainly that aspect, the moving Mark Lester from sexploitation movies into he had done like Roller Boogie with Linda Blair, that disco roller skating movie, which is awesome, by the way, but certainly not an action film. So this was a big step for both Mark Lester and for Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not only that, but for Joel Silver, who went on to do several films with James Cameron. I think True Lies came after this, for example. The conceit, right, of the super aggro, muscly, oily dude protecting a child, in this case, young Alyssa Milano, who's quite good in this movie, certainly carried through, not just in U.S. movies, Hollywood movies, but internationally. I think Leon the Professional owes a lot to Commando in some ways. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to say that. There are so many great one-liners, as Laurent has pointed out in Commando, so I won't rehash those here, other than to say, I lied.
Well, I will just point out that, again, reminding everybody, we're discussing the impact on the future of action films. So, Laurent, how does Streets of Fire impact the future of action films?
Well, in many ways, the story is so simple because even Streets of Fire uses a story which is really used beforehand. It's a hero who saves the damsel in distress from the bad guys. And we've seen it in many times, and I think it's one of the blueprints we use in many action movies nowadays too. But if we made a modern version of Streets of Fire, I think the hero is not Michael Pear, who does a great fight at the end, which was mentioned here by Big Mike Leader with Willem Dafoe. What I said before with the hammers, it's awesome. You have to see it. I think in modern times, there is a girl who would save her boyfriend from prostitutes because the guy gets kidnapped from the prostitutes because he didn't pay it, and now the girl has to save him from these prostitutes, and otherwise when he gets home he gets beaten up by his girlfriend. But we have a more action plot. This would be nowadays Streets of Fire. So in a matter of fact, even Commando is a blueprint for, but not nowadays anymore, because it's timeless. Streets of Fire. In case of Commando, it's not timeless because we have this male body parts, which was very 80s. This muscle guys, this American Gladiator style. It isn't anymore. It's not. It hasn't gone with the time to nowadays. And so Streets of Fire is something that can be done easily nowadays too.
So you're saying that the fact that Michael Pare is a flaccid wimp is a big influence on modern action movies?
Yeah. Look at the modern action movies nowadays. Everybody looks like a hobo.
You know what? I'll give you that. I'll give you the fact that wimpy, to quote Hans and Franz, wimpy girly men are now action stars. Look, Joel Silver produced Commando. This is one of the first movies that he produced. Previous to this, he produced a failed musical, Xanadu. He produced one of the early great Walter Hill movies, 48 Hours. He produced Weird Science, which is also about wimpy girly men. But after Commando, he produced Lethal Weapon, Predator, Action Jackson, Die Hard, Roadhouse, Lethal Weapon 2, Die Hard 2, Predator 2, The Adventures of Ford Fairlane, The Last Boy Scout, Demolition Man, Lethal Weapon 3. So, and I can keep going. The Matrix.
Matrix. I just want to mention Matrix. Password Swordfish, isn't it?
Commando has a direct through line to the Matrix by jump starting Joel Silver's career. And also, the Matrix is a good example of a less than muscular fellow being an action star.
Quick cut in. How amazing is Demolition Man? I just wanted to gush for a second.
Quite
I love that
good.
movie. It's so fun.
Depends on which version you see. If it's Burger King or the other.
Yeah. All right. I think, Laurent, do you have any rebuttal to that last little bit?
Oh, yeah, I have one. Because when you compare it to Joe Silver, I have to say Streets on Fire brought us the best villain in film history. Without Streets on Fire, we wouldn't have the Green Goblin, which is called William Dafoe.
All right. Enough, Will. Okay. We are voting for who had the better defense of which film was more impactful to the future of action cinema.
I think Green Goblin came from Wild at Heart.
Laurent for Streets of Fire, or Will for Commando. Green Goblin came from Wild at Heart.
Yeah, right. Nicolas Cage was the inspiration, of course.
Please leave a name in the comments.
Dafoe was inspiration.
I mean, there is a clear straight line from Laura Dern to the Green Goblin. That's all I'm
saying. Yeah. And Jack Nance, my dog. Sometimes. Whatever.
Again, both of these fairly influential, and I think that we made pretty great choices coming out of that first round for these films.
What was that? Are you juicing? Are you eating healthily right now?
Yeah.
Is that fruit?
I have to stay up. I have to be awake.
I have zero nutrition in my body right now.
Me too, but now, now it's different.
Wow. All right. So in the chat, we've got 3. Wow. It is very close. We've got one more vote for Laurent than for Will. And our number of voters has decreased dramatically, unfortunately.
Chase everyone away.
Oh, wow. Never mind. It is tied up.
Spaghetti.
Very tied up. And I mean, again, if we end with the tie, I'm going to have to cast that final vote.
They call me Ragu because I get all over you. Can't get me out.
Wow. All right. Last call for new votes for either of them. Otherwise, I'm going to have to give the vote here.
Will, remember when I said I kill you last? I lied.
Listen, let me just say that we came here as opponents, but we go out here as brothers.
Yeah.
And if we leave here tied, then we can gang up on whoever's next.
There are no ties, I'm sorry.
Capitalism, man, sucks.
All right. The winner for that round was Will. Congratulations, Will.
Oh, I take it back. Capitalism rules.
We're not brothers.
I'm never helping you.
Greed is good.
All right. Next round, same thing. Influence on future action films. This, to me, is pretty even. Rambo First Blood Part 2 from Laurent. Predator from Will. Who went first on that last one? I'm already forgetting. Was that Will? Okay. Laurent, you can go first. Rambo First Blood Part 2. How is this the much more influential action film?
Well, I have a little anecdote. My neighbor's little girl, she was 4 years old, was in the garden, said, "Grandma, Grandma, give me the red tie." And she had the red tie, and she said to her friends, "Live for nothing or die for something," which is, I thought, wow, you're 4 years old. What have you seen? I asked her, and she said, Rambo. So it's completely influential nowadays. It's something we can compare. We can watch when we have bad mood. When you really have a bad mood, you think, well, I watch Rambo 2. I see that Stallone loses his photo equipment, so he's in a bad mood. And no, Cosmatos did a really great work with Rambo 2, and to see that this is based basically on a script from James Cameron, which isn't anymore. It was in the first draft, but not what we see in the last final cut. But to see what generated out of it and what influential Rambo has all the years. I mean, even that one got a cartoon like RoboCop. Remember? And he got action figures and all this stuff. And it's got 5 movies after that. I don't know which movie Predator got. How many good movies? Never mind, because Rambo got really good movies. I don't. The last one. No, don't talk about the last one about the cartel. but John Rambo Part 4, man. Without these movies, I think action flicks and Stallone wouldn't be recognized anymore nowadays. It is.
I don't think
Rambo 2.
He's not recognized anymore. Nobody knows what. Nobody recognizes him.
Well, come on.
He's in a reality show with his kids now.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so out of touch with stuff like that.
No, it's true.
All right, Will. Why is Predator the much more influential action film?
Oh my God! How many ripoff? Look, there are plenty of Rambo ripoff movies, sure, but the sheer number of Predator ripoff movies far eclipses. Not to mention the franchise itself, which whatever you think of the Aliens versus Predator crossovers, is just like an amazing concept. The Predator franchise itself went through many different iterations. I personally think the best of the sequels was the second one with Danny Glover, in part because like you really believe Danny Glover's in danger. Like holy shit, this guy's gonna have a heart attack before he gets killed. The other thing about Predator that's really interesting is the way it influences films in the genre beyond just an alien versus a human. Things like the movie 65, for example, with Adam Driver, who's a wimp, fighting against intergalactic dinosaurs is part of the Predator universe lineage. The films that pit normal people against these intergalactic invaders really owe a lot to Predator's very realistic depiction of how a lesser being could somehow turn the tables on the superior alien. Which one was Laurent defending again?
I had the same problem with. I was
Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Oh yeah, man. The thing about that, the retrograde politics. Holy shit, that stuff hasn't aged very well, has it? And then, but Sly doubles down and he like puts the last one in Myanmar and yeah, it gets kind of problematic, doesn't it? Like you look back at First Blood Part 2 and you're kind of embarrassed about American politics. You look back at Predator and you're like, hell fucking yeah. Like Predator is a goddamn inclusive movie. One of the really unique things about Predator is like it was It was, yes, the main guy was a white guy, but the commandos were a pretty inclusive mix. And that how many 80s action films in Hollywood had that? Had that role for Carl Weathers, had that role for Bill Dukes, had that role for the
Sonny Landham.
thank you. You know, and that's the thing. You know, you look at First Blood Part 2, and it's just like generic Asians as Vietnamese. The politics of Vietnam boiled down to, do we get to win this time? I mean, it's so embarrassing, frankly, when you look back at it from 2023. But you look back at Predator and you're like, I've got an erection and I'm proud of it. I'm proud of this inclusive erection that I have watching Predator.
What a final statement on Predator. Laurent, any quick rebuttal?
Yeah. First of all, I find it very interesting that Will, when he's getting erected, screaming contact, which is, dude, it's good. It's fine.
We're inclusive here. That's okay.
It's okay. Whatever floats your boat. But I think in Rambo, and you're right, in the politician way, when you have a rewatch on it, it's not good. It's like Rocky IV. It's not good, but it's fun. It's enjoyable. It's something I appreciate, where I can give up my brain at the table and just watch a movie and enjoy it. And I think Rambo 2 has a scene which is pretty intense. That is when he comes back with his machine gun and shoots everything in the office from the Americans, just to say, you screwed everything up and I was fucked up here while I was saving some of our men, which is a great scene, by the way.
I agree. First Blood Part 2 is the Woody Allen of Hollywood action films.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right. On that comment, voting in the chat for who defended the legacy and inspiration for 80s action films. Will for Predator or Laurent for Rambo First Blood Part 2. Just a first name in the chat for who wins, please. Man, that was wonderful.
And don't forget, if you vote for Rambo First Blood Part 2, you're voting for yeah.
You politician.
I also got to read the comment from Distorted Vision. So random. Bill Lustig told me that Sonny Landham saved his life by swatting away an actress that tried to stab him in the back during a porn shoot on Long Island.
True story.
Well, that's cool.
Spaghetti wants to ask you, Will, how would an erection show up in Predator Heat Vision?
Oh, man, the whole screen would be red.
And somebody mentioned Jean-Claude Van Damme was in Predator. In fact, yes, it's true. But at that time, the movie was called The Hunter. It was a different movie.
Yeah, well, the Predator was going to be about 5'1".
Yeah, and do a split.
All right. It looks like the win for this one also goes to Will. I want to throw out a couple things. How do we not talk about Rambo First Blood Part 2 and not mention Weird Al doing Rambo? And then the other thing, how do we talk about the legacy of Predator and not talking about all of the action horror that came from it? Like, it's a slasher film.
Like Doom. It's a giallo movie. Movie. You see a black glove.
Yeah, indeed. You know, in many ways, it reminds me of The Wizard, with the Predator being that guy with the power glove.
Wow.
I love the Predator. I love Predator.
I love the Italian version. RoboMan or RoboWar, I think it's
RoboWar.
Red Brown. I mean, come on, man, this is really good stuff.
Is that Coetzee? Who did that? I know Severin puts it out.
Severin Films brought it out. Yeah.
Is that Luigi Coetzee? Who did that film?
It is Claudio Fragasso.
Fragasso. Yeah.
Bruno Mattei. Bruno Mattei.
And directed by Vincent Dawn is what it says.
That's Bruno Mattei.
That's
Yeah,
Bruno Mattei.
Just loving the funny names. I was going to point out for both of these, Severin has released many of the copycats for both of these films.
Yeah,
actually.
they have. I was actually like a little stressed out. Like I was worried that you were going to mention like all of the Red Brown Rambo ripoffs that Severin puts out. Because
I don't want to mention Cobra Force with the head. But
All right, we are down to 2 more in this round.
All
And
right.
again, we are talking about the legacy on the future of action cinema. Laurent, you were going first with Lethal Weapon. Will, you were taking on Bloodsport.
Bloodsport. I mean, I've already talked about Bloodsport.
So you get to do it
and we
again.
talked about Lethal Weapon.
Now it's the legacy on the future of action cinema. So Laurent is first with Lethal Weapon.
Oh, Lethal Weapon made the buddy cop movie, as I told before. It brought it to the big cinema,
It's true.
and
It's true.
so we got over the decades, even today, we got buddy cop movies, which is based on Lethal Weapon. In every kind of genre, not only action genre, we also have comedy genre like Rush Hour, which is basically action movie because Jackie Chan is in it, but it's also a comedy movie. And therefore, I think that's the point. That's the whole point. We got an action flick, which was meant seriously by Richard Donner, which is awesome. And this concept was taken over like Streets on Fire. It's a blueprint which you can use for every fucking movie. You can even make a horror movie with a buddy cop element in it. You know, even that Heat is based on Lethal Weapon. If you want to name it a trashy movie. But yeah, it's a simple concept which makes action movies sometimes awesome.
Will, you're up with Bloodsport on how it affected the legacy of action films.
Yeah, first of all, I'll say again, Lethal Weapon is based on 48 Hours. But but you know, I also have to go to something that Laurent pointed out, which is that the Bloodsport really is one of the primary inspirations for the UFC, which means that without Bloodsport, and hear me out, without Bloodsport, we would not have Joe Rogan. Now, I know that many of the people listening today are probably not Joe Rogan fans. I recognize that. I will point out that news radio is amazing, and Joe Rogan is a big part of that. However, whether or not you appreciate the career of Joe Rogan, you have to appreciate the impact of Joe Rogan, positive, negative, whatever. Because he really arises from Bloodsport. And we're not talking about positive or negative inspiration here. We're talking about an influence. We're talking about impact, like the sheer impact. Joe Rogan is the most successful podcaster in the world. And if it had not been for Bloodsport, there would be no Joe Rogan. Now, you can lament that as a tragedy if you wish, or you can be like, bro, that's awesome. But the fact remains that Bloodsport has had the bigger impact. Positive or negative, it matters not. It is the bigger impact. Now, that being said, aesthetically, Bloodsport has had the bigger impact. You can talk about Lethal Weapon as a buddy cop comedy all day long, but does anybody cite it as an aesthetic influence, as a stylistic influence? No. Bloodsport is gorgeous. It is perfectly edited, perfectly shot, perfectly choreographed. What does Lethal Weapon have going for it? Mullets and butts.
Laurent, a rebuttal?
First of all, I don't understand what Fear Factor. Why is Fear Factor inspired by Bloodsport? What is your problem, Will? I don't get it.
UFC.
And also in the UFC, Joe Rogan is only a moderator, I think. No, he wasn't in the cage.
No, his podcasting comes from that, though.
Yeah. Okay. I got you on that. But Lethal Weapon got the father of the singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers killed in the first 50 minutes. I just want to say it or mention it. But, it was also one thing you pointed out with the stylistically, it's wrong. Many action movies after Lethal Weapon take over the fast cutting, which it had in its action scenes from Richard Donner, and in the fight scene where you can see Rick's fight against Gary Busey in the garden, the camera holds on to it. It's no fast cutting. So this is something especially which came from the Hong Kong action movies where the camera shows the fights. Which
Not Richard Donner.
Yeah, but he took it to America and made it. This is a new norm for action movies, which was later in the 90s. We can forget it because there was fast cutting again, and then we got some trash like Taken 3, where you have like 19 angles from showing that he's jumping over a fence. I don't get it. But yeah, so Lethal Weapon was very influential in action scenes, and also in the way people respond with each other. You have action and the good dialogues, which is something I miss nowadays. Bloodsport, don't get me wrong, but the dialogues, no man. It's as I said, it's about child trafficking. When an Asian man comes to a family and said, "You want to know? I came to America. You came here to America and make wine." And I want to show my fight skills, so I can take your son, and my son can beat up your son. And the parents say, "Yes." I don't know. I don't think it's a good dialogue.
Well, I think there's a long tradition of sending kids to boarding school, so I think that's typical for people of means, regardless of their culture. Look, here's the thing, man. You look back at Bloodsport, and there's very little to be embarrassed about. You look back at Lethal Weapon, and there's a lot. There's a lot. I'll say again, we're not talking about positive or negative impact. We're talking about the extent of the impact. Bloodsport has influenced not just cinema, but culture. How many people today look back at Lethal Weapon and are like, "Oh my gosh, that's my favorite movie," versus how many people today look back at Bloodsport and are like, "Oh my God." Big Mike Leader agrees with me.
Have you seen How I Met Your Mother? I think he did a rewatch of all the 4 Lethal Weapon movies and not Bloodsport. So
are you talking about that Doogie Howser show?
I don't know.
Is that the Doogie Howser show, Ryan?
It is.
Oh, well, I do not feel I need to respond.
Well, I could understand if you were in the chat and you were feeling like Stan, who says he is conflicted. Remember, we are voting for the defense of the legacy of this film, not the film itself. Will defended Bloodsport. Laurent defended Lethal Weapon. No comment, Will. Hold on. Let people start voting. Please
Stan.
enter a name in the chat.
I think the most funny thing in this show here, Ryan, is that Will and I are always conflicted because we both are passionate for the movies, you know?
Exactly. We've got one vote for each.
Oh, Stan's killing me, man. Hey, I'll tell you a secret after the voting's over.
Daniel says Karate Kid and No Retreat, No Surrender had much more influence in pop culture, and would Bloodsport exist without the other two? What does Laurent or Will have to say about that? I think Karate Kid is obviously the winner over Bloodsport there.
Yeah, but Bloodsport wouldn't exist without No Retreat, No Surrender. That's right, because they choose, Canon Film chose him because of No Retreat, No Surrender. They choose Van Damme, and Van Damme made Bloodsport. He edited the movie, he did everything. He did the fight choreography with Frank the Liar Dukes. But it was Mohamed Kissi and Van Damme who really made Bloodsport what it is nowadays.
I got a funny story about Karate Kid. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Sure.
All right. So when I was 25, 26, I was getting my master's degree, and I was working in my spare time at a writing center where I worked with a lot of students who were English language learners, English as a second or third, fourth language. And I started working with this Japanese student who was there getting her master's degree in music therapy. And she was an amazing musician and quite fetching. And I, through total luck, because I did not deserve it at all, sparked up a friendship with her, and then that turned into a brief period of dating. And as we got to know each other, she revealed to me that she was a black belt and in karate and competed in martial arts tournaments and so on. And I was like, oh, have you ever seen Karate Kid? And she was like, no, of course not, because she had just come to the United States to do her studies and hadn't seen them. I was like, okay, you go watch Karate Kid. So we go and we watch Karate Kid together. And I did not realize quite how racist that movie was until I watched it with a Japanese person. She found it very humorous. She was laughing about how like all of the actors of Asian descent were mostly American born and were doing approximations of the accents and stuff. And I was like, oh God, just kind of embarrassed about it. But then when Daniel LaRusso did the crane kick, she started laughing her ass off. And I was like, what are you laughing at? That's the ultimate karate move. And she goes, if you did that to me, I would break every bone in your body. And I was like, this girl is amazing.
So you dated Tong Po? Is that what you want to say?
I love the end of that.
More or less. So, just so you know, all that karate is a lie.
Oh yeah, it's a lie. I painted my fence. I washed my car. I got beat up.
She was cool.
All right.
Yeah.
We are going into our final battle in this round.
Oh,
and
still going?
Yes, we are not done. Will, you are defending the legacy of the killer.
Oh man.
And Laurent, you're defending the legacy of Eye of the Tiger. Will, you are up first, my friend. How did this impact the future of action cinema?
Oh my gosh, Gun Fu. The Killer is the apotheosis of John Woo. His relationship with his faith, his aesthetic expression of his faith through the duality of the face-offs and the release of the doves really came to its perfection in The Killer. The fact that you have Chow Yun-fat defending a woman who has been blinded due to his own actions is the perfect encapsulation of the moral guilt that a sort of previously amoral character carries. And this is really not just characteristic of John Woo, but influential on so much Hollywood and Hong Kong cinema that came after. When you look at films as disparate as Woo's own Face Off with Travolta and Cage both wrestling with their own moral dilemmas, to something as different as the action comedy The Big Hit, what you have is with Marky Mark and Lou Diamond Phillips. What you have is professional Ronin, really, to put it in a sort of Kurosawian lineage, Ronin, who are for the first time forced to examine their moral choices and to think about them in terms of atonement. Without the killer, could you have films like John Wick? Without the killer, could you have the career of Takashi Miike? Without the killer, could you have the exodus of Hong Kong directors to Hollywood that defined the 2000s in action cinema? I think not. I think The Killer is the moment. And let's not forget that The Killer is the film that Quentin Tarantino references the most in his little multiverse, which, according to Broseph cinephiles the world over, is the authority, right? Quentin Tarantino gives the bona fides to The Killer. Now, I've never seen anything that Tarantino has to say about Eye of the Tiger.
Laurent, Eye of the Tiger.
Killer or thriller? I get confused sometimes when it comes to Tarantino. But Eye of the Tiger is the movie which, and I have to say it as you said it, John Wick wouldn't be without Eye of the Tiger, because John Wick is based on a movie from stunt persons who do a movie which appreciates stunts. And Eye of the Tiger was the same thing in the 80s. The who is who of the stunt persons worked on Eye of the Tiger, and they showed every single bit that they got. And also, the theme of revenge is a theme which sticks on nowadays. And there we go. We have John Wick. He's on a revenge. And Eye of the Tiger showed it in a really cool fashion manner, how you can take revenge in a small village where the police is corrupt and the villains are really bad as biker gangs. So it was a fight against David with his Goliath, and this is something that nowadays still is in the revenge movies. You have a huge, big ass enemy who's really badass, and then you have your hero who has to fight his way up, like Bruce Lee in Game of Death. So yeah, I think Eye of the Tiger is still one of the most influential movies when it comes to action.
And
Even though many people don't know Eye of the Tiger.
All right. No rebuttal. We're going to go straight into voting.
no rebuttal.
No rebuttal. We're going to let those arguments stand on their own. Will had The Killer. Laurent had Eye of the Tiger. Please leave a name in the chat for who had the best defense for the impact of the film on the future of action cinema.
Truly, the blind are leading the deaf.
What? I can't hear you. Oh, man.
Did The Killer influence Replacement Killers? No, it's called Replacement Killer, right? Not Replacement Killers. But technically, it were Replacement Killers because it was Til Schweiger and Danny Trejo. But I didn't get it.
That was a combination of John Woo and Woody Allen. Chow Yun-fat and Mira Sorvino. That's I don't want to kill people.
Since it won't really affect the vote anymore, Mike Leader's comment is so funny. There's some great stunts in action, but did Eye of the Tiger influence anything but Cool as Ice?
Indeed. Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Oh, perfection. Okay, we are down to 4 titles, and funny enough, 2 of them are for Will, and 2 of them are for Laurent.
No way.
It is perfect the way that this ended up. We are down to the 2 battles that will determine the final 2 action films of the 80s that we are choosing our winner for the episode 2 of this. So now this is just going to be an all-out impassioned plea for why your film is better than the other film. Again,
I feel I'm gonna be-
what we do like 2 hours now.
We've been going for so long. Oh my gosh.
and it's still way shorter than the first episode. So
Yeah, that's true.
these are
Well, fuck, man. I had so many other titles on my list.
this is a perfect combination here, though. So Laurent, you got Commando. Will, you've got Predator. Will, I mean, I don't know why you're complaining. This is a great one to defend here. Will, you are up first with Predator. Why is this infinitely better than Commando?
The alien with the vagina face. The challenging bicep flexing camaraderie between Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger. B, the spittoon of Jesse Ventura. C, the wickedly witty script of Shane Black. D, the mystical moments of, what was his name again, Laurent, the Native American character?
Oh, Sonny Landham.
Thank you. Not only that, but the presence of the super big guy, what was his name? Kevin Michael Hall, from the late lamented and overlooked incredible sci-fi TV series Misfits of Science as the Predator. So many iconic performances, and I haven't even talked about Bill Duke yet. Bill Duke. If you want to be a man, Bill Duke is the man to emulate. He is a Renaissance fellow, actor, director, artist, intellectual. And his presence in this film brings a gravitas that is sorely lacking from Commando, which, great as it is merely a popcorn film. Let's be honest. I've already gone into why Predator is so influential, not just as a franchise, of which Commando is not, but as a film in and of itself, which did not invent the man versus alien conflict, but certainly innovated it in ways that have been unmatched and much imitated since. Look, I ask you voters, if you're about to sit down for the evening and you're like, I'm going to have a glass of wine and watch an action movie, and these are the two that you have available to you in your last few weeks of Netflix discs. You're like, oh my gosh, I've got Predator and Commando from my Arnold Schwarzenegger wish list. Which honestly, which one are you going to sit down and say, you know what, I want to watch this one tonight? It's Predator. Commando's good, but it's not great.
Laurent, why is Will wrong?
Oh, he's completely wrong, right? Commando doesn't need sequels. Commando has a remake from Russia. We don't mention it, but what Commando did.
It's a commie film.
What Commando did was, it has the montage of putting your weapons on your body, which is used nowadays so many times. I think even there was this movie, I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, did it, right? I think they got it from Commando, if I'm not wrong.
Ooh.
But you mentioned so many people, and I can say, hey, man, Bill Duke also in Commando. We got a black female lead, Ray Dawn Chong. We got a little kid, which later on make TV series like Charm. We don't mention that one too, but hey, come on. She was the kid of Arnie, which is awesome. And the film is all about family, Commando is about family. Predator is not about family. Predator is about sexual harassment from predators in the jungle. but but this one, yeah, it is so. Isn't it so? There are these muscular guys coming into the jungle, getting the girl, tying her up, and say, "She belongs to us now." You know exactly what they did with her after that. I mean, Bukak is nothing against it. So I'm glad that a female warrior came to save her, called the Predator. But Commando, it's timeless, man. It's timeless, and I think Predator can't compete with Commando. Even the lines are better than in Predator, the one-liners, because Commando was first. Yeah, Predator was a rip-off when it comes to the one-liners from Commando.
Wow.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's a good point.
There you have it.
A risky gambit, to
All right.
To quote Stan Geezy.
Hold on. To fill your rebuttal, 5 words to describe your film, and that's it. 5 words. You get 5, and then Laurent gets 5. 5 words. That is a hell of a face to make.
No creepy kid stuff here.
So, wait. To describe your film, you told me what your film didn't have. Got it. Laurent, your turn.
Oh, my turn? That's easy. Let off some steam, Will.
Through child endangerment. Okay.
All right. Voting in the chat. Who defended their film better? Will for Predator or Laurent for Commando? Man. People are getting into this one. That's awesome. I was surprised that it didn't get leaned on earlier that Commando came before Predator.
Exactly. It has no stamina.
Wow.
Did you hear that, voters?
Tie game at the moment.
Look, how many, the Predator we're talking about influential, not what you prefer. Predator spawned not just a franchise, but a crossover franchise, and in addition, countless ripoff remakes.
Commando didn't need it. Commando had Bill Paxton in one scene. That's all.
Well, the Aliens franchise crossed over with Predator, which had Bill Paxton in it. So there was a lineage there.
Yeah, and Predator 2, and also Terminator. Bill was in everything, man.
Predator 2, I think,
he's the guy who leads the Commando.
Look, if we were doing 90s, Predator 2 would be like my number 1. I love Predator 2. I think it's the best of the franchise. Yeah, click your fucking check mark.
Wait, have you seen that?
Oh my gosh, the butthurt is real.
Hey, you know what? I want to share a secret. I've never seen Eye of the Tiger.
Well, I sent it to you.
Please do. Sounds good.
I gotta be honest, I kind of thought that was the case earlier and didn't want to say it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we are back. One more until our final battle. This
give me an 80s fantasy debate. We start going Hawk the Slayer and shit. I'll be all over it all day. This stuff, I'm trying to remember.
You're doing great. You could have watched all 20 of these before our episode. Come on.
And Will, you see in the comments, Commando inspired Fast and the Furious. It's all about the family.
Come on now. I'm pretty sure the Fast and the Furious inspired Fast and the Furious. I mean, Roger Corman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. This is our penultimate battle. We've got Laurent with Lethal Weapon, Will with the Killer. This is not about impact on future cinema. This is about
I
what.
gotta do The Killer again?
Yeah.
I've got several movies on my top 12 that have not been mentioned.
I mean, that's just simply untrue. I've got your list in front of me.
I had both Delta Force and The Last Dragon in here, so I feel like there's a.
Ooh, The Last Dragon.
Yeah.
You did have those, and then they were not on the final list.
But I don't. What else want to say about The Killer? All right. Okay.
I had Purple Rain on the list. I didn't see it either here.
I'm ready. Wait, what did you say? What did you have on your list?
Purple Rain. It's like The Last Dragon, I think. It's going close.
You know what? I saw Prince on his last tour, and it was amazing. And
Lucky.
much respect. It's a great show. I miss him very much.
Me too.
All right, Laurent, you are up first. Lethal Weapon. Why is it a better film than The Killer?
Are you shitting me? Oh man, how often can I repeat myself? Seriously. It has everything an action movie needs. And there too, like Commando, you have family. It's all about the family. It's about integration. It's about letting somebody into your life who you can't deal with. You know, he has a colleague who has mental problems, and they have to work together. And he thinks about. I mean, Murtaugh is thinking about his retirement. He don't want to do action stuff. Shit, he's too old for this shit. You know, but he has to do it because he has a new friend now, and now he has to fight with him against the baddies. And I'm all in. When I see something like that, I'm all in. This is everything that counts to me for an action movie. And yeah, it's one of the movies I can watch over and over and over again every year, and it doesn't get boring.
Understandable. Since we're going to do it just like that last round, why don't you give us 5 words to describe Lethal Weapon?
Well, I don't need 5 words. I only say Mel fucking Gibson rocks.
Wow.
Now, Will, I would like you to not use the words Mel Gibson or anti-Semitism during your argument, please.
Well, that seems like I'm being hamstrung on some pretty legitimate criticisms.
It's true.
Okay. Well, if you want to align yourself with Mel Gibson, I will abide by that.
You've already broken the rules, sir.
All right.
You had one job, Will. One job.
So, one thing that The Killer does not have is mullets. Another thing that
But mustaches.
Another thing that The Killer does not have is a lack of chemistry. Now, say what you will about the fact that Lethal Weapon had several sequels. I think we can look back at them and we all know that the 2 male leads did not have real chemistry. But The Killer has at its center a truly deep and nuanced relationship between killer and cop, one that interrogates the moral and ethical positions of each. And the motif of blindness certainly accentuates that relationship. Now, we can talk about the gun fu. It's amazing. Say what you will about Richard Donner, who was a great journeyman director who relied upon assistant technicians to handle the visually interesting stuff. Look, Lethal Weapon is an action movie with lots of action in it and some very competent technicians, but The Killer is a paradigm shift. Listen, audience, you don't have to like me. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to respect me. But the idea that Lethal Weapon is more influential than the fucking Killer is absolutely asinine. I have nothing but respect for Laurent, who did not ask for Lethal Weapon as his film to defend. But the fact of the matter is there is no question. When you see the Doves, when you see the Face Off, when you see the conflicted anti-hero, you're looking at John Woo. When you see something from Lethal Weapon, do you think, oh my gosh, that's Richard Donner's touch? You don't say that. You don't even know who he is. You don't fucking know who he is.
5 words to describe the killer as your final little bit here.
John Woo, not Richard Donner.
All right, votes in the chat if anybody's still watching. We've been losing some people, but
rest in peace, Richard Donner.
True. Votes in the chat for Laurent or Will on this one. I think I have a feeling that I know where this one's going to go.
I'm running out of bottles, man.
I've got an empty one I could pass.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. Somehow we've got 2 votes for Laurent.
How is Wicked Vision getting 2 votes? Wicked Vision's getting 2 votes.
Whew. Dude McMahon is definitely not Wicked Vision.
Fuck it. Here we go.
That doesn't count. We've got 2 for Will, 2 for Laurent.
I'm having to actually appeal to the audience.
I love Daniel is really trying hard for Lethal Weapon.
Dude, listen.
I gotta steal.
I got yes, exactly. I gotta say, listen. When it comes to Christmas movies, Lethal Weapon is not even near the top of my list. I don't even like the Die Hard movies, but I watched that before Lethal Weapon.
What? As I said earlier, the father of the lead singer of Red Hot Chili Peppers got shot by selling Christmas trees. How is it a Christmas movie, man?
Listen, I'll say his name. Blackie Dammit is an actor who deserves more credit.
Yes.
For National Lampoon's Class Reunion, if nothing else. But his presence in Lethal Weapon is not enough to put the movie at the top of my list. Listen, when I pick Christmas movies for action, Home Alone 3 is always in the top couple. I think it's far superior as in its violence than Lethal Weapon.
What's the movie called in English with Samuel L. Jackson and Gina Davis? In Germany, it's called Deadly Christmas, but that is not the
Long Kiss Goodbye. Here.
Long Kiss Goodbye.
Long Kiss Goodbye. Thank you. Yeah, this is one of my favorite Christmas movies.
Was that Rennie Harlan?
Yep.
Hey, you know what? I like Rennie Harlan.
Me too.
Okay,
now we're gonna have to do one of these episodes for Christmas movies or something.
You know what? Cut the stream, man. I just want to talk with this guy.
Well, let's figure out who's going to win today because we have one last thing. And yes, you guys have defended both of these to death. But here's where the final twist of the day comes in. Not only are we on the last battle, but I am taking the killer and I am going to be giving that to Laurent.
Tell you what, man, Timok would be disappointed in you. I've got an impassioned defense of Last Dragon ready to go.
Well, this is here, and this is when we end this thing. Will, you are defending Commando.
No, I'm going second.
I'm not telling you you're going first. Just saying this is all of the stuff, the negativity that you've thrown at Commando all night. Laurent, I know that you have.
I love Commando.
So this is where it's your time to shine. Laurent, you're up first, defending the killer, and will be defending Commando. Laurent, take it away.
How can I wait? Wait a second. I'm defending the movie now. I'm only defending, not any more rules. Just defending, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Will has something you wanted to say though.
I eat killers for breakfast.
All right, Laurent,
Yeah,
you
okay.
are up.
The Killer. It's for me. It's The Killer is the most inspirational action movie when it comes to Hong Kong cinema, which shows us what we can achieve with a good story, with drama, with a love story, and a lot of action, and also the situation in between the different characters. We have a policeman who's hunting the killer. We have the killer who is doing some regrets on a failed mission. So we got characters, we go deeply inside these characters, and then we got the whole action part all around it. And I think John Woo made it perfectly and combined all these elements to a perfect action movie flick. So highly recommended. And this is something that Hollywood was looking for.
Will, why is Commando the better film?
The fact is, The Killer ruined John Woo. It ruined his career. The Killer showed great promise, and it brought John Woo to Hollywood, where he was completely homogenized, like so many great Hong Kong directors, Ringo Lam, for example. He came to Hollywood, and what happened? He was neutered. His artistic testicles were removed, and what we got was an increasingly diminished series of returns. Sure, Hard Target and Face Off were very good, but what do you have to say about Paycheck? What do you have to say about Wind Talkers? He didn't recapture his artistry until he went back, and that's just the fact. The Killer was very good. The Killer was very influential, but it actually kind of ruined the career of a great artist before he could become great. On the contrary, however, Commando gave Arnold Schwarzenegger a chance to become a respectable actor. It was Commando that led him to his iconic roles to follow. It was Commando that put him in an ensemble with people like Bill Duke, Dan Hedaya, Ray Don Chong, and yes, Alyssa Milano, who is quite a good actress, and who gave him the first chance until perhaps Jingle All the Way to really show his soft side, to show his familial side, to show his paternal side. This is a film where Arnold Schwarzenegger murders extrajudiciously several dozen people, yes, but it's also the first is able to really show himself as a father, to really show himself as capable of portraying love, familial love, paternal love, tenderness. What tenderness is there in Paycheck? None, I would submit. Commando led to so many great roles for Arnold Schwarzenegger, so much expansion of his craft, whereas The Killer led to a narrowing of John Woo's craft. And it led to a complete disaster of a Hollywood trip for Chow Yun-fat, who came and did The Replacement Killers and some shit with DMX. I don't know. Or that was Jet Li.
The Corruptor was Chow Yun-fat.
Thank you. You caught me before I accidentally made a racial mistake. I apologize for conflating Chow Yun-fat and Jet Li. But the point is, when Chow Yun-fat got to Hollywood, there was really nothing for him. And when John Woo got to Hollywood, there was really nothing for him. He had a couple of okay movies, but they pale in comparison to his Hong Kong films. On the other hand, Commando was the explosion of Schwarzenegger. It got Schwarzenegger all over us.
Great
Should
arguments.
I defend something? Should I defend The Killer?
Sure. We have
Sure.
one rebuttal
Okay.
from each individual, and then we are going into our final vote.
Okay, first of all, Commando wasn't the movie that got Schwarzenegger the big screen role. There was Conan the Barbarian before, and he killed many people in Conan the Barbarian before. And even though Conan the Barbarian was a family movie, because he get revenge for his father. Just saying.
Okay.
Don't get it wrong here, Will. I know your politician moves, but it doesn't work here.
Did he have a daughter in Conan?
No, I don't think so. But maybe he got one in Jack. I don't know. I didn't see Jack. It was long before Commando. And also Mark L. Lester. Yeah, he did a good action flick, but seriously, it's not comparable to The Killer. The guy who did Truck Stop Woman. Yeah, I mean Truck Stop Woman and The Class of 1984. I don't know if this is the same guy. It seems so, but is it so? I don't know. Maybe there's a lie. So, for me, The Killer, you can't say anything against The Killer. And you said it right. It opened up the way, The Killer, for every action movie. Not only for the career of John Woo, not only in the career for Chow Yun-fat, who did, after that, Hard Boiled, which is awesome too, and in terms of action, just more explosive than The Killer. But the storyline that you combine romance and drama with action, which we saw in Luc Besson's Leon, which we saw later on, even in John Wick, you can't say anything against it. It's from The Killer, man. It's not from Commando.
Well, I would lean into Mark Lester, who was a fantastic director in his own right. You're right. He did start out with Truck Stop Women. I don't think that's an insult at all. Let's also bring in Bobby Joe and the Outlaw. He had a real affinity for directing women roles that John Woo, to this day, is incapable of. Mark Lester, after Commando, went on to do films like Armed and Dangerous, Showdown in Little Tokyo, etc. He has a real range in terms of being able to direct for comedy, for romance, and for action. I don't know. Is there a John Woo comedy that I'm forgetting about? I just don't think he's capable of. When we talk,
he planned to do When the Doves Cry, but
I mean, Face Off was pretty damn funny too.
Face Off, yeah, but it wasn't because John Woo.
And they have the Super Mario boots in Face Off, so it was comedy, yeah.
Okay, well, that wasn't because John Woo was trying to make a comedy, though. Look. The fact is, you're right. Arnold Schwarzenegger had become a star already from Conan the Barbarian, but Commando is the film that expanded his range and enabled him to become the global superstar that he did, doing not just action films but romantic comedies and family movies. There would be no Kindergarten Cop or Jingle All the Way. Etc. If he had not shown his ability to work with young actors as he did in Commando. Commando is the moment where Arnold Schwarzenegger became not just a muscle man, but a global phenomenon, and eventually a beloved governor.
Speaking of politics,
Terminator, Will. It was Terminator, not Commando.
Well, Terminator's not on the list. Terminator's not on the list. You're throwing around bullshit.
That's his rebuttal against your argument. All right.
Great. I have no problem with the Terminator. But he did. But Terminator 2 would be impossible without Commando.
One final sentence, and then we can have an actual discussion as friends.
Terminator 2 would be impossible without Commando.
Laurent, your final sentence.
My final sentence. If John Woo would be here, definitely he would send Chow Yun-fat to kill Will because of his false statements. So Will got blinded. And I really appreciate it.
if he sent Chow Yun Fat after me, I would tell Michelle Yeoh how everyone voted against her.
All right. This is it, everybody. This is it. The moment tonight. We are deciding who wins this episode, who defended their film better. Will defended Commando. Laurent defended The Killer. Let's see some names in the chat to give us one final vote. Everybody, we got more than 20 people watching still. Everybody vote.
Let's not forget that Alyssa Milano, in her...
No more defense, sir. Let's not forget Alyssa Milano.
Alyssa Milano. Not fair.
It is fair. No more.
All right.
Dude McMahon says
in the comments.
Laurent makes a good point with Truck Stop Women, but it's a different movie. Buys my vote any day. Commando gets the vote for Dude McMahon. We've got 2 for Will and 1 for Laurent because Wicked Vision. Daniel will always vote for Laurent.
This is unfair. This is socialism, is what it is. Oh, go on with your health care, Laurent.
Oh man, you and your guns make action.
I tell you what. Hey, listen. Hey, Alyssa Milano and her white lady way. Also,
you didn't break, and it wasn't.
I waited until a dramatic moment to do it. I had to.
That's fine. She knows.
Oh man. Okay.
Oh, gosh.
The way that it's looking is that Will has somehow won again.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me? I feel like Donald Trump in 2016. Like I won the electoral without the popular.
Congratulations!
Amazing.
Now I lost my job.
Now I'm gonna change the rules.
Oh jeez.
All right.
What a great ending.
I'll look for my new contract from Wicked Vision tomorrow. Laurent,
I'll send Daniel your email.
Laurent, on the first Thursday of every month, you can take my spot. I'll just.
And Will wins healthcare.
Yeah, I'm fucking moving to Germany, man. I'm cool. I like immigrants.
All right, so obvious question to tie this back from the beginning of this whole discussion. You both pretty much said there was a clear winner of best 80s action film.
Oh, yeah.
So what is it? Because, I mean, you guys just said Commando won.
Well, that was your fault.
But that's what you said on this game.
Will, what is your vote?
I don't know. I think we might agree. For me, my favorite movie of the 80s is The Punisher with Dolph Lundgren. I think it's so fucking good. And if you want, we can both defend it. I bet we both have plenty to say about it. Oh, look at that. Oh, my erection is making me move away from the screen. Listen, that movie, he fights the Yakuza and the Mafia at the same time and does it in the service of protecting children. What do you and he does yoga nude, and you get Dolph Lundgren's got a good ass, man. Like, me and my wife agree on that.
And he gets his information from a guy who lives on the street with a VCR car and alcohol bottle on it. I think it's the best scene in the movie.
Do you remember that scene where he's in the bar and he says to the guy, "I'm a thespian," and the guy spits his beer out. He's like, "You're a what?" And Oscar winner Lou Gossett Jr. Brings the pathos, right? Like, he really wants to redeem Frank, and that's something that's really missing from the subsequent Punisher adaptations. Is this idea that Frank can be redeemed that he can turn away from the path that he's chosen. That's not possible in the awful Thomas Jane movie or in Punisher Warzone, which is great, but great as a satire, or in the TV show, which stars that guy who's married to the sister of Facebook CEO, Cheryl, whatever her name is. He's a soft. He's got soft hands. Everybody's like, "Oh, you've got your tough guy,
John
Bernthal,
Bernthal, right?
John Bernthal. Oh, you're big tough guy." No, he's a soft hand, rich fucker.
Yeah, but I think when it comes to Punisher movies, I think the Dolph Lundgren one is the best adaptation from the comics.
Yes, absolutely.
And the movie goes straight into the Punisher. We don't see his origin stories too long. It's there. It's short, but we have the Punisher. It's a guy who's a killing machine and doing it for the right reasons.
Yeah,
so,
and the fact that at the end, he does not change his character whatsoever. He's like, "You're a good boy. Grow up to be a good man, because if not, I'll be waiting." He says that to a child whose father he just murdered.
Yeah.
You know, that's the Punisher. That's who the Punisher is. He's Batman without the cuddly stuff. The Dolph Lundgren Punisher film is, to me, one of the top 3. That was a Canon film, right?
No. It was a New Vision film. It was from Roger Corman's company. Yeah.
It's one of the top 3 of that era, and it's, I think, one of the best and most nuanced Lundgren. It's the movie that showed that Lundgren could act.
Oh, for sure.
And it does not get enough credit. It played all the time on HBO, and I want to believe I saw it on TBS or USA cut, edited as a kid. But
what I was wondering is, Punisher didn't even get a cinema release in the US.
No, it didn't.
It didn't. In Germany, it got. In France, it got. In Australia, it got, but not in the US. And I was wondering because I was searching for a movie poster, for a cinema poster. And as you see, this is the German one. But I can't find the American one because there is no American one. It hasn't an American cinema release.
Well, I've got 2 more things I wanted to bring up. The first one is a little bit of an inflammatory one. Die Hard is not on either of your lists. And when you ask most cliche list-making things about top 80s action, that's at the top of the list. Why isn't it one of the best 80s action films?
Well, I can tell you, because first of all, Daniel is right. I get a lawyer now. But but no, I think Die Hard is a movie like Indiana Jones. It's full of mistakes.
Yep.
And the whole situation, the whole building, Nakatomi Plaza, could stand in its entirely if Bruce Willis just didn't go into fighting these guys. At least his girlfriend, she got the code for the safe. She would give the code and the people are free. What does this douchebag do? Oh, yeah, okay, I tried to save them. And he fucked up completely.
Agreed.
Predator was John McTiernan's apotheosis. Die Hard was the beginning of his decline. And everyone loves Die Hard. I remember my father-in-law, we were visiting for Christmas one year, and he was shocked that I'd never seen Die Hard. And he was like, "Oh, we gotta watch Die Hard." We watched Die Hard, and I was like, and we haven't spoken in years.
I've never understood the Die Hard worship. It's okay at best, in my opinion.
I like the third one. I like the third one from the 90s with Samuel L. Jackson. This is a fun movie with the controversial scene in the beginning, and there's a lot of comedy. I think my first thought was, oh, is this a script by Shane Black? But it wasn't. But yeah, but the rest of the Die Hard movies, no man, they suck.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I like, all respect to Bruce Willis and good luck to him and his family, but the popularity of Die Hard is undeniable, but it's just not for me.
Clearly. Okay, so what I wanted to do finally is to list both of your guys' full complete list. and be able to give you a moment to speak on ones that were not a part of this. So, Laurent, you had Eye of the Tiger, The Punisher, Lethal Weapon, Commando, Bloodsport. The first one that you have here that we didn't cover, Exterminator, Cobra, Hard Ticket to Hawaii, Avenging Force, Streets of Fire, and The Killer.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good list.
That's a nice list.
Thank you.
So Exterminator, I think overall that and Avenging Force, I think are the only ones that didn't make the final list of 16.
Yeah. But Exterminator, for me, it's a good Charles Glickenhaus movie. And as you see now from this whole show, I like revenge movies and I like the theme of The Punisher. And I think Exterminator did a great job on that too. It could be a Punisher movie, by the way, the first one. One interesting thing on Exterminator was always when I was a little child, there was a guy with a flamethrower and a motorcycle helmet on it. It's never in a movie. It's never in a movie. And the second one, the sequel to the first one is even better. In part one, he always save other people's. You know, there was one guy tied up from another man who got raped, so he saved this guy. Or he put someone in the meat grinder. So he has his reason. In part two, when he fights, how is he called? My favorite actor here, Van Peebles. So Van Peebles is a bad guy in part two, and he saved nobody. Every time he comes too late. So what's the point? What's the fucking point of this fucking sequel?
It's not revenge anymore. Will, your entire list was Big Trouble in Little China, Bloodsport, Cobra, Delta Force, The Last Dragon, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, Magnificent Warriors, Predator, Project A, The Punisher, Rambo First Blood Part 2, and RoboCop. So you also only had a couple that weren't listed. We got Delta Force and The Last Dragon. What do you want to tell us about those two?
Well, I'll tell you, I look at my list and I have to recognize that it speaks to an earlier version of myself that was much more traditionally masculine. I think that if I were to make a list that was like my favorite movies today,
right,
it would be a little bit different. But I was thinking about like nostalgia and films that were formative to me growing up, and I think this is accurate. Delta Force, I appreciate purely on the level of camp. I love the fact that Lee Marvin is in it and clearly has nothing but disdain for what he's doing. And I've done my little impression of Chuck Norris with his butt missile at the end when he blows up Robert Forster, who is inexplicably playing an Arab character. Look, Delta Force has a lot of reasons to be critiqued, and all of those reasons should be emphasized. But it really represents a lot of what Hollywood was doing in its portrayal of Arab characters in the 80s. And so in listing it, it's not so much that it's my personal favorite as it is that it was a film that was so influential on me, I had to like do some work to get it out of my system later in life. The Last Dragon, on the other hand, is one that I've come to embrace more and more as I've grown older, because it's so much fun. The music, the sort of exploration of blaxploitation cinema and Hong Kong martial arts cinema as a kind of cultural melting pot. The performances from Julius as Shonuff to Ty Mok as Bruce Leroy, not to mention the lovely and talented Vanity. it's a film that's so much fun and manages to take all the action tropes and make them palatable for younger audiences that I think is kind of unparalleled for Last Dragon. In fact, if you had included it in the show, I feel like it would have been a clear victory for me to argue about. The Last Dragon is fantastic.
Interesting. Gentlemen, this has been incredible. Thank you for coming in here and arguing so fervently. This has been a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. Let's do, what do you want to do next? You want to do slasher movies, or?
I think it's a little too broad.
I just want to, I want to have a chance to talk with let's talk about 80s music. You want to?
Let's talk about that after a short video. Last Dragons is a jewel of my childhood. I've only come to appreciate more the older I got. Didn't understand much of the in-jokes when I was a kid. Can't wait for the 4K. That being said, thank you, gentlemen. I'm going to play a short video, and then we'll be back after the broadcast ends. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. This has been an incredible time. I hope you all had a good time watching this insanity, and we'll see you hopefully next month for episode 3. It might be June. We'll see. Anyways, thank you for watching The Disconnected. On the way out, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel, that you've liked the video, and that you've copied the link to be able to share with someone else that may appreciate this.